Hello and welcome to round 5 of the FAB-Racing Midweight British Championship. We are here in South Wales at the Llandow race circuit, and you join us just at the end of the motor team qualifying 2 sessions, where today we have very, very wet conditions. You join myself, Lewis Ray, and alongside me for this weekend once again is Adam Reid in the commentary box. And so far this weekend, and so far today anyway, it's been a mixed condition type of day. 1 minute the sun's out, the next minute the heavens are open and the rain is pouring.
Oh, absolutely. It's been the talk of the town at the moment, with all that rain coming down onto the circuit, making the track a little bit more slippery. So there are riders out here will have to be very, very careful with all their movements out on the circuit. But Llandow is a really interesting circuit. My first time here in Wales, in fact, in all my life, but it's been fantastic here to come to a circuit which is a really nice looking circuit. A lot of technicalities that we'll get onto later. It's a great circuit.
Yeah, it's a great circuit. It's tight, it's twisty, and currently the Mini GP50s are making their way out for their qualifying 2s, where it's wet once again. So it's going to be interesting to see how the lap times will differ compared to the first qualifying session. But as you can see, it's pretty full paddock this weekend here at Llandow. It's always a fan favourite circuit and a rider favourite circuit as well. It's got a bit of everything. It's got fast corners, slow corners, hairpins and technical sections, and that's exactly what I love to see, because it means we get epic battles. We have one section where one rider might be faster, and then right at the next corner it might suit the rider behind. So close battles here at Llandow, loads of overtaking opportunities, especially in that final sector, which means we get loads of last lap battles here at this circuit. And I don't know about you, but I'm expecting some great racing, because last round at Ella Park we've seen some amazing stuff.
Yeah, we did really see some incredible racing all throughout that weekend. Hopefully you were joining us for that one. But as you said, a fan favourite, a rider's favourite for this time out in Llandow. I've been speaking to a lot of the riders, and they said they were looking forward to being around this circuit. I see why, because there's such a variety of how this circuit varies. Of course, just looking out of our commentary spot, we can already see a massive long straight and already multiple chicanes in this circuit. So there's definitely opportunities to go have a look down the inside, use the different lines, especially through the first proper corner, as we see now one of our riders just heading through. It's definitely a sort of mix match, and it's definitely not one of those stop starts which a lot of our riders do not like. We love flowing circuits around here at FAB-Racing, so that's especially what our riders look for, and it's definitely showing here, especially through this section. We'll go through a lot of the corners as if we follow one of our riders, I'm sure.
Yeah, this circuit as well, as you can see in the back straight, that it dries up very, very quickly, especially this back section of the circuit. So conditions are going to change really, really quickly, because now the sun is out once again. There's half the circuit which is still covered in some dark clouds, but overall the sun is peeking out once again. So this is the conditions which you do not want as a rider. You either want it to be perfectly dry or absolutely pouring it down, like it was in Friday practice. But today it's a bit of a mixed situation. So you have some riders even out with some of the rain jackets on above their levers. Some riders opt to not use that because they feel like it's a bit restrictive. But as you can see, Archie O'Brien coming for a picture at the moment. He is having a good weekend so far. He's enjoying it. He's finally got to the problem of his motorcycle in the Mini GP70 class, which we'll get onto later, when he's losing some time in the straight. But the Mini GP50 still seems to be his best opportunity this weekend. In the Mini GP50 overall, Marco Holt leads the championship by 46 points over Luke Fitch, and Marco Holt currently in this qualifying 2 session top with a 54.154, 1 second, over 1 second faster than this man here, Frankie Watson. Now Frankie Watson last round had a super impressive race meeting. He led the way and got onto the podium on the final race of the weekend at Ella Park. So it's so impressive, and now following the likes of Archie O'Brien through this back section circuit towards the back straight, it's going to mean it's basically a masterclass of how to ride these Mini GP50 bikes. And actually, Frankie Watson looking down the inside in qualifying, imagining to get through on Archie O'Brien, so potentially liking these wetter conditions. So second place right now, does he go any faster? No, he does not. That was a 1 minute lap time there. These riders in these conditions are doing roughly a 54-second lap time, which is so quick in the wet conditions. And there is Tyler Hartley having the fall at the final corner there, but up on his feet and pushing the bike across, waiting for some help. But there's Seth Hayward. He's moved up to the class this year, and this year in the Mini GP 50s, wow, what a grid we have, over 20 riders.
Oh, absolutely! It's great to have this amount of riders here in the Mini GP 50. Is the way up towards the top leagues of motorcycle racing. As you see there, Tyler Hartley, absolutely fuming with himself after that fall. But yeah. It's a disappointment there to see one of our riders already down. But as you were saying with Lewis, back to adaptability, that's so important as a young rider. You continue learning that throughout your career, and one of the times to be learning it is right now. With the rainy conditions have just passed us now, and you can see, as we said, the sun is peering up. So of course these riders are going to be constantly learning. They're going to be getting their talks from their parents as well, because I've seen a load of dads be so passionate about their kids wanting to do so well here, and it's great to see trying to push their kid a little bit more to see what they can get out of those bikes. But adaptability really going to be crucial this weekend, especially today, as we know exactly what the weather is going to be like. It might be a whole different story moving into tomorrow, but we'll keep you up to date on that one.
Currently, it's Byron Johnson at the top of 54 flat in this qualifying 2 session. We have just under 3 minutes remaining. There is Mark Holt coming to the start-finish line, and he does not better his time at all, 54.4 last time around. He's just 1/10 of a second off the top rider, Byron Johnson, during the session. He was held up ever so slightly there by Chloe Gleeson in the first sector, but over a 20 bike field in this class, it's bound to happen. But really, one thing all these riders are going to be wondering, even right now on the bikes, is what is going to happen with the weather. Are they going to have these types of conditions during the race? And of course, one thing as well, as the track dries up, they're going to get more heat into their tyres, potentially start overheating their tyres, and it's going to start almost feel like you're riding on jelly whenever you're going around. But there is Lucy Curtis as well, and Cal Maxwell. He's making his way through. Taylor Thompson, Matthew Thomas, some more of the riders that are moving up to the Mini GP 50 grid this season. But 1 minute and 50 seconds remain in this Q2 session, and it's very tricky conditions out there, but you have to stay out and just learn these track conditions, because the way the weather's been so far, you can have it either bone dry for your race later on today, or you can have it absolutely pouring it down. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen in the first race of the day.
Oh, absolutely. It's something to really look forward to, and really something that interests us as commentators, I would say, just trying to depict what the track conditions are going to be like. And looking at the time there, Byron Johnson still at the top with a 53.7, and he is also joined in the 53s by Marco Holt, currently sitting in second place. Austin Johnson, Byron's brother, is sitting in third at the moment, and there's been another fall there, so it seems like one of the bikes is being rolled off and in towards the paddock. They're trying to get it sorted out. Who is that?
Lewis? Frankie Watson there, down at the final corner. A hot spot for crashes, actually, the final corner. It's a really tight hairpin. You're slowing down from the highest speed down that back straight, and actually stopped him at the side of the track there as well as another one of our female riders. But there is Marco Holt, a 52.7. He's the fastest rider in this session at the moment. 40 seconds remain in this qualifying 2 session. What an incredible lap time to have. He's over 1 second quicker than Byron Johnson, just ahead of Austin Johnson in third. So right now, lap times coming down every single lap, so you really have to stay out and be the last rider to cross the line. But Byron Johnson, the top Johnson, number 37 on his machine right now, second place at the moment, 1 second, just over 1 second, and his last time around was a 55.6. His last time around potentially just a building lap, but 10 seconds remaining, and there is Mark Holt of Bethany Ashby just behind, and Matthew Thomas as well. Taylor Tomlinson, he has a busy weekend once again on the 77 machine, racing in multiple classes. Lucy Curtis as well, Wilson Dowks just behind, and there is Chloe Gleeson leading the way. But the checker flag is waving now in this qualifying 2 session. The final riders will take the checker flag, and any improvers, Matthew Thomas a 56.7 that final lap, and Wilson Dowks as well improving. But there is Johnson coming towards the line at the moment. Byron Johnson, does he go any faster? No, he does not. A 55.8 on that final lap. Still his brother to cross the line, but Ollie O'Gorman, he's crashed at the final corner, so that will stop anyone from improving, and Ollie Gorman getting checked up by one of the medics there. But checker flag waves, and that'll be the end of any quick lap times in this Q2 session.
Oh, absolutely. As you were saying, Ollie O'Gorman going down there, and as you said, it's been a massive hotspot because but the times are falling down. There you go, Marco Holt is your fastest with that 52.7. The track was starting to grip up, the tyres were starting to gain temperature, as well as our riders getting into their rhythm, which is so important. You need a rhythm around here, it seems like, with all these tight, twisty corners, but also a lot of flow to the circuit and down the Hanger Straight, not to be confused with the back straight at the Silverstone GP. But there you go, down the Hanger Straight and in towards into the final corner of Raymond's. But if you're just joining us, welcome to round 5 of the FAB-Racing Mini Bikes British Championship. You've just joined us at the late stages of the Mini GP50 qualifying session. Marco Holt on top there with a 52.7, the only rider in the 52s, and then it's going to be Byron Johnson a second behind with a 53.7. But they're just doing a few practice starts there just to get their clutches and their biting point in precision, so they know what to do for that ultimate race start, which is going to be coming later on down the line.
Coming up next, you can see the riders waiting in the holding area for this next qualifying 2 session. And actually, what riders are waiting, what class they are waiting, is the Pit Bike 140s and the Extreme 200 class. But you can see some of the smaller riders here at FAB watching on and looking at these track conditions at the moment, because the sun is absolutely shining here at Llandow. And let me tell you, although the sun's shining, there's a good old breeze around the circuit at the moment. The wind is certainly out. There was actually wind warnings for today, and actually some other events in the UK have been cancelled due to wind, so we're going to have to wait and see. But we're waiting for the Pit Bike 140 and the Extreme 200 class to come out on circuit for the qualifying 2 session, and these classes have been combined for this weekend, so it should be some good racing, because Extreme 200s and the pit bikes normally give us some fantastic racing, some of the highlights of the weekend. So being together, I don't see what could go wrong, because it's going to be incredible racing, incredible talents as well throughout the field, and even more styles of bikes out there and different types of engines, 2 strokes, 4 strokes, what's not to love?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have both these classes combined. There's a whole load of talent on that grid. But as you say, going back to the weather, just having a look at my right side here, there are pretty good clouds over here, and it's looking pretty bright with the wind still blowing. But then I look on the other side of the circuit, and I'm just seeing a bit of a grey cloud just heading over towards us. So we might be getting a bit more rain here. So that is going to be. So at the moment, I'm looking to be on cloud watch at the moment. But hopefully we'll be getting the Pit Bike 140 and Extreme 200 class. There you go. But yeah, you can see the clouds up there looming over the circuit, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be hopefully getting some great weather. As you say in there, it's so diverse just around this circuit, just our one little spot. It's just completely diverse. There's so much going on.
Well, hello and welcome to the FAB-Racing Mini Bike British Championship. It's round 5. If you're just joining us, don't worry, you've not missed too much yet. You just joined us during our cloud watching session just before the Pit Bike 140 and the Extreme 200 qualifying 2 session. Extremely windy here today at FAB. Some events have been cancelled, like Goodwood, but we still run, and although it's windy, it's just another challenge for these riders, which with their talents and with some of their experience, especially in this Pit Bike 140 class, they'll be able to adapt to very, very easily. Oh, absolutely. You then have to take into consideration about crosswinds and headwinds, but we won't go too much into that. But all I know is that if you're a rider or a rider, you don't want a crosswind, because of course, as we see a couple of brushes on the circuit, just brushing away some of the water. We like to keep our riders safe and sound. So hopefully they won't run into too many issues. But it looks like they're about to be released. Paramedics doing a wonderful job there to just try and help out around the circuit. But Lewis, what are you expecting between the 2 classes combined in this session? What are you thinking? Any surprises maybe? Yeah, it's definitely going to add some drama, to say the least. We're going to have some of the Extreme 200s potentially causing an upset. We can see the lead medic here at Llandow continuing to sweep some of the water off the circuit, maybe some of the debris that was from the bikes, but they're actually just checking that nothing was down on the circuit from any of the crashes there at the final corner. But he's continuing to sweep, and hopefully we can get going again very, very soon. But yeah, one of the marshals there also getting involved with the medic. They're checking that something's down. Maybe they have a little suspicion that something may be down on the circuit. Hopefully it won't hold us up for too long. But of course, safety being paramount here at FAB Racing. But the Pit Bike 140s and the Extreme 200s, they're all revving their engines right now, and they're going to be switched off pretty soon. The good thing is, though, if they're on wet tyres, it means that they don't need tyre warmers for them. Some riders don't even use tyre warmers for the wet tyres, but we're waiting to see if they can get out, because the longer they wait as well, with this wind, the quicker the track's going to dry, and certainly sweeping the track and getting some of the water off the track is going to make it even drier. So yeah, the riders there waiting, and quite patiently, actually, to say the least. You don't want to let it bother you. If you get leg in your head, that's when you get frustrated in the first couple of laps, and you really need to take your time just to get some initial heat in the wet tyres. Once you have heat, they hold it pretty well, and certainly the way the track's going at the moment, they might start overheating by the end of this session, because there's a slight dry line appearing around the circuit at the moment, but hopefully they're appearing away. But there is Shannon King with the rainbow helmet on her bike, on moving up to the Pit Bike 140s this year. Shannon King, she's been enjoying this Pit Bike 140 so far. She's of course racing in the senior mini moto, but Shannon King, she's been enjoying her Pit Bike 140 experience, and why wouldn't you? Because it's so close racing, and like we've seen the past couple of rounds, it's going down to the last lap, the last corner, 3 or 4 riders.
Oh, absolutely. We saw that last time at Allo Park. There's been so many close battles. Of course, we've got Lucas Brown as one of our winners. Chris Wells is also one of our Pit Bike 140 winners. And there you go. They've all been released and out onto the circuit. And you see that the amount of instantly, you see the amount of variety in the bikes, and especially between the two classes. There's just so many varieties, and you absolutely love to see it here in Wales. And it's brilliant to see all these different classes try and go at each other, but they all now head out onto the circuit. They'll just continue to be exploring the conditions. Of course, this is probably their first time out, and I've been catching up with Chris Wells, and he felt confident. He had a few issues with his engine last time out, and he's only just got it fixed this morning, in fact. So he's been pretty busy with that, with his bike, with the number I can't remember actually off the top of my head, 62. Just having a look at our timing screen, but now they're heading through the Dell in the chicane and up to Diggers. So that is the corner right at the end of the circuit. And then they'll head down the Hanger Straight and in towards Raymond. So again, just keep exploring. They're not taking it full pelt just yet. They're still trying to figure out all the lines that they could use, and especially down as we see Shannon King is using this little section here. It's very diverse in the lines. You can take a tight line and try and get more steering, and or you can try and go a little bit wider and then get a better steering in towards that tight corner. But there's so much to use, and so much to take in. There's a lot to discuss with the racing lines, and I'm sure we'll be seeing that later on in the races. If we're trying to go for a move later on, you could also see of course a few as one of our riders down, and that is the number, who is that in fact?
Yeah, that's one of our AMR motor machines. That is number 12 that has hit the deck at the moment. So that's Sean Whittaker that's crashed on the number 12 machine. So we await to see if he pulls back into the pits or if he's going to continue, because there's 5 minutes remaining at the moment. The Pit Bike 140 and the Extreme 200 class are currently on their qualifying 2 session. As we mentioned, multiple lines through his Llandow circuit. And there is Mr. Jamie King, Mr. Sonic the Hedgehog himself. And now he's coming over the line in just a couple of moments' time. He's missed FAB. He's missed the last 2 rounds of the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. He's been very missed in the paddock, but he is back, of course, with a GoPro on his bike to get that content for his YouTube channel, Pit Bike Sonic. Go check it out. But Jamie King, he's been enjoying his time back at FAB. He's been racing some other championships as well in his break, but currently 3rd place in this qualifying 2 session for Mr. Sonic Hedgehog himself. He's going to have to run faster than that, though, to get at the top of this session. You can see Jamie King is looking quite shocked at the moment with his pace, and certainly these track conditions, you just have to ease into them, and it's certainly one of these track conditions that you want to almost have wet knee sliders on, which are a lot thicker than dry knee sliders, about double the thickness, and it helps get your knee down, and it means you don't have to push to get more lean angle, which can cause a crash. But there's Bailey Stewart Campbell, there is Bailey Lawrence just ahead of Jamie King, and Jamie King manages to get through. So 4 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Of course, Bailey Stewart Campbell and the likes of Sullivan Mincy will also be out in this race, and certainly they are the riders which I think are going to make a difference. And Blake Wilson, who's at the top on the number 8 machine at the moment, the grey Mini GP 70, of course, who's racing in the Mini GP 70 as he comes into the final corner now, doing the Doctor's Angle hard on the anchor, and he comes out now. Will he improve in his lap time? A 54 dead. Now it's a 53.9, the fastest lap of the session. Goes to Blake Wilson on the number 8 machine, as now Sullivan Mincy takes over the number 1 spot on the number 4 machine, a 53.7, an incredible lap time there from Sullivan Mincy. So can we potentially see an Extreme 200 rider win the race later on? Can we see an Extreme 200 rider go on pole position for the Pit Bike 140 and Extreme 200 race? What a mix-up that would be.
Oh, it's absolutely. It's all up in the air at the moment. You see there Sullivan Mincy in your pictures at the moment with the 53.7, 2/10 quicker than Blake Wilson's. That's why your graphics just suddenly changed. But Sullivan has been really improving lately. He's been really working on his skills this season, and it's been impressive to see. Yes, he's had a few instances here and then, but he's been working on that as Blake Wilson now goes to the top. There you go, your graphics changing, and Sullivan Mincy now steals it back. You see now, because of the tyres getting warmer and warmer, these riders getting into their rhythm, the times are continuing to fall. We're now seeing 53s, low 53s coming into. We'll be seeing 52s if possible, and I think if there's one person that could do that, it's probably going to be Sullivan Mincy on that Extreme 200 bike. He looks so confident on that at the moment. We now switch to Blake Wilson. He could also probably get into the 52s if his bike will allow that. You see the grey and the green lime rims on his number 8 as he just continues to go around second. Also, just seeing on our timing screens, up to 3rd place goes a returnee to the FAB-Racing Mini Bikes British Championship. Noah Guillory has returned, and Blake Wilson now goes to the top. But just quickly going over Noah Guillory, he has missed a couple rounds. I think it was just Elo that he missed. I remember seeing him at round 3, which was Red Lodge, my debut. So I do remember seeing him there. But going back to Blake Wilson, 53.2 at the moment with 2 minutes left to go in the session. So it's going to be a swap between the 4 and the 8 at the moment. So Blake Wilson doing really well there to just continue his form in the with Sullivan Mincy in the Extreme 200 class, just sitting in second. At the moment in the Pit Bike 140 class, it's Liam Wood at the moment on his 94 on top at the moment. He's currently sitting in 5th place overall with a 55.3, so he's a while off Blake Wilson, but I'm sure there's a lot of contrast between those bikes that are currently with Liam Wood, and of course the top guys are Blake Wilson and Sullivan Mincy.
Sullivan Mincy at the top, a 53.046 in this qualifying 2 session. Just 1/10 of a second ahead of Blake Wilson, who's continuing to improve in this qualifying 2 session. 1 minute and 10 seconds remain in the qualifying 2 session. In the Pit Bike 140 class, as we mentioned, Liam Wood is at the top, 5th place overall, and 1st in the Pit Bike 140 class, just ahead of Jamie King. So 1/10 ahead of Jamie King, and he's enjoying that one at the moment. Liam Wood, he's enjoying these conditions. Bailey Stewart Campbell's well down in 8th position, but Chris Wells, the 3rd Pit Bike 140 rider, is down in 9th place. So at the moment, Liam Wood top in the Pit Bike 140 session, number 94 on the Pit Bike class, and he's enjoying his year so far at FAB. He's probably had his best season to date. He's been very consistent, being within or near about that top 5 position, and that's really where you need to be in the Pit Bike 140 class, just to be able to get a chance and a shot of taking that race victory. But 5th place overall for Liam Wood, 1st place in the 140 class, and there is Chris Chris Wells, currently getting followed by Bailey Stewart Campbell, and Bailey Stewart Campbell looking for a move down into the final corner, but now heading down the back straight. But their checker flag waves now, and now the first riders cross it now. Will anyone improve on their final lap in this qualifying 2 session? Sullivan Mancy, a 52.8 was his fastest there. Shannon King also coming over the line. Blake Wilson now comes to the line. Will he improve? Will Sullivan Mancy improve? Blake Wilson does not. Can Sullivan Mancy? No, he cannot. A 53 that time around. A 52.8 though was his fastest time, and the fastest time of the session. What an incredible lap in these tricky conditions. The track now though is certainly starting to dry out.
Oh, absolutely. Sullivan Mancy, great lap time. I did say he could get into the 52s, and he has proved me right. A really good time there with the 52 from Sullivan Mancy. But as you were saying there, before the session got going, we had the track to continue to be swept just to keep the track nice and dry. There were a few wet patches, but now just looking out of our commentary box window, it looks very dry compared to the start of the session. The velocity of the tyres have kicked up the tiny amounts of spray and just placed them on the outer skirts of the track. And there is Chris Wells just doing a quick practice start, just getting the biting point right and the clutches right. So definitely important to try and get that run down in towards the first corner. But if you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream. We're live for round 5 of the FAB-Racing Mini Bikes British Championship, live from Llandow in Wales. I'll pronounce it correctly because there's a few comments going around about which way it's spoken, but I'll say Llandow for this time.
Noah Gilroy now coming into the pit lane. He still has Aaron Sylvester's levers on, actually, so it's not his levers he's using just yet, but you can already see the next class currently waiting in the holding area to go out for the qualifying 2 session, and that is the Mini F1 sidecars, and Mick Williams leads the pack out, and you can see some of the dads having a conversation and watching these full-grown adults on these Mini F1 sidecars, and they'll tell you it is very, very great to see. And there is the number 90 machine of the Green Streets with a slightly different livery this weekend. Actually, some new sponsors that they've picked up after putting on a very, very impressive result last round. 2 out of 3 wins for the Green Streets, and what an impressive run they had so far this season. Number 90, and they've been showing their pace, they've been showing how strong they are compared to the likes of McWilliams, and certainly in these conditions I think they might just suit the likes of the Green Streets. McWilliams, they've always had a slight issue with that 2-stroke motor to get that power to the ground, but now heading towards the back section of the circuit, towards the Dell, the flip-flop, and then they come through now to the right, to the left, and then you can see there is the MPs coming through the picture at the moment on their 2-stroke motor, which is why you'll see some smoke coming out of the exhaust with the oil directly going into the fuel and instead of in a separate compartment, and that is the way the 2-stroke motors work. But you can see there the Keats stopped at turn 1, so they've had a very, very disappointing start to the season. Actually, their sidecar went on fire at Red Lodge, and since then, and before that actually, even at the first round, they had some right old bad luck, and it's continuing. So they push the sidecar outfit to the side of the track. They'll probably jump over the wall, and that'll be the end of their qualifying 2 session, or just sit on the tyre wall and watch everyone else have the fun out on the circuit.
Oh, it must be absolutely devastating for them to just be sitting on the sidelines in their leathers and helmet. But yeah, really unfortunate there for the Keys. Just check and see if there's what the main source of the problem is, but they'll have to take that back to their little tent, and hopefully they'll be able to get that problem sorted by the time we get to the actual race. But at the moment, looking at the times here, Mick Williams and Michael Elms on pole position at the moment with that 1 minute 4.6, but this is pretty much the talk of the town at the moment with the Jason and Leo Green Street sidecar. But now switching back to our pole sitters for the moment, Mick Williams and Michael Elms. Last time out was a 1 minute 2.2, so not too bad there, but the Green Street's right behind them, 1 second off with a 1 minute 3.3. So Mick Williams, like you said, being very, very dominant, but there's a kind of bit of a talk going on with the Green Streets performing so well. They got their first pole position of the season and their first win, and then a second win in race 3, and then they were on course for that third win in a row. However, a penalty unfortunately put the 90 in their place of Jason and Leo Greenstreet, but I don't think they'll be phased too much. They'll be so happy with the performance that they made as Mick Williams makes his way now on towards the final corner, and he'll go and he'll make his way down towards the paddock and just see, there's another rider going off, and that's the sidecar of, I believe that's the Hoskers. So John Hoskers stopped there on the side of the road. So that's the second sidecar that has gone off, unfortunately. Only 7 of the sidecars joining us this weekend here in Llandow. The Hoskers just trying to have a figure out to see what's going on.
Yeah, so the Huskers stopping outside of the circuit. That's the second outfit that we've seen have issues so far in this qualifying 2 session. So very, very disappointing there from him. They'll just have to watch on though. But there is the MPs making their way through on the 457 machine. But lovely sunny conditions at the moment around this circuit. And actually, I was quite surprised Mick Williams made a very, very quick dip to the pits, because these are the type of conditions you just want to stay out. But as we know, the likes of the Greenstreets, for example, they are the riders which usually stay out on the circuit for the whole session. But you've seen them earlier on when the heats pulled off. They were getting some advice from the Welsh Wizard, and it's his home round this weekend as well. So hopefully with some magic they'll be able to get that sidecar running again. But there are, coming to the line, the Greenstreets heading towards the first corner. To the right they go now, and actually the helmet will be very, very close, almost clipping the curb there. But then to the left, then back to the right before they go round to the left once again. It's such a technical first opening part to the circuit. It's one thing on a normal bike, but then on these sidecar outfits is a whole different story. The passenger really has to work for it. And right now McWilliams leads the way with 2 minutes remaining in this qualifying 2 session. So a 1 minute 2 second .281 is the fastest lap of this qualifying 2 session. And track conditions continuing to dry. Wind though is still up around this Llandow circuit, and it's really going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in this race, because although we're seeing what's happening right now in this qualifying 2 session, by the time the actual race comes along later today, towards the end of the day, it could be a whole different story.
Absolutely, of course. We were on weather watch whilst the Pick Bike 140 class and the Extreme 200s were about to go out for their session. So we're still on weather watch at the moment, but nothing too dramatic just yet. But of course, still it's Mick Williams up at the top, which is not too dramatic. But we'll just continue with the Greenstreet car. You see sidecar. You can see the dark blue and the black and the white there on the livery. Sorry, that's more of a silver than a white. But they make their way now through this little technical section in towards the hairpin. One of a couple of hairpins on this circuit, and then through they go along Lancaster Curve and in towards Chandler's. They go a little bit tight. Less than a minute now to go for the session. Currently still Mick Williams at the top here with Jason Green with the Greenstreet sidecar in second place. Still they go, and now they're heading down the Hangar Straight. The MPs in third at the moment with the 1 minute 4.7, followed by the Mark Parker and M's sidecar without in P4 with the 1 minute 6.1. But now across the start finish line, can the Greenstreets improve? It's not an improvement, unfortunately, there for the Greenstreets. It's a 1 minute 3.3, and then going back down, finishing from 5th to 7th is the Hosker with 1 minute 6.3. They have already pulled off, and then Jamie Alexander with a 1 minute 7, and of course the Keats, unfortunately, who've had the pull off in the very early stages. But at the moment, with 10 seconds to go, it's looking in the way of the Mick Williams, the inevitable.
Yeah, McWilliams only 2 laps completed so far in this qualifying 2 session. 9/10 of a second was the gap between first and second place. Can the Greenstreets do anything on this final lap? It's tricky track conditions, and there's Jimmy Alexander and Martin Hills. They made their debut this year, and wow, what a fantastic looking sidecar that they have. But the Greenstreets now heading down the Hangar Straight. Can they do anything on this final lap in this final qualifying session of the weekend? The Greenstreets come around the final corner, they power it out through, they almost drift it out, and now coming to the line. Can they improve? Yes, they can. They go top. A 1 minute 2 second .127 is the fastest lap right on the final lap of the session. 1/10 of a second separates Mick Williams and Jason and Leo Greenstreet in the Mini F1 sidecar class. Mick Williams only did 2 laps that session, but Jason and Leo Greenstreet opted to stay out like we've seen them do time and time again. And now that's what happens. You stay out, you learn the track conditions, and you get a great result. But Greenstreet's on their cooldown lap now. They won't know what exactly they have just done and how great of a lap time they just did, because they had to put it all on the line there. But look at them, nice and relaxed, and they know that they've done the business in this qualifying 2 session.
Oh, absolutely! It's been fantastic to watch those guys improve week on week, and of course they're excited to get the result that they want. Hopefully they can maybe go on a run and hopefully go on and challenge. At the moment, they're 60 points behind Mick Williams in the championship standings, but they could possibly close that. Of course, they had those 2 wins which to close the gap. They got that pole position in the number 90 sidecar, and then of course that penalty unfortunately cost them. But that pole position is going to be crucial. That's going to lift confidence once they see that. And of course, they can go into this weekend with a bag of confidence and hopefully, maybe even taking the win and close that gap. 75 is the maximum points on offer at the moment. But with Mick Williams, one of the best riders of sidecars, it's going to be such a challenge to try and hold him off. He's of course, he's got a 100% podium record, which doesn't make it any easier. But I'm sure the Green Sheets would be doing their best to try and mount a challenge later on today, and hopefully maybe even try and get a triple win.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and find out and see what is going to happen. But the sidecar guys just finishing up on their session. Have a little conversation about what happened there before one of their members come over and tell them the lap time that they have just completed. But the Green Sheets looking nice and relaxed in this qualifying session, as now we look towards the Premier class here at FAB, the final qualifying session of the weekend. It is the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship, the final qualifying session of the weekend before we get into some racing. But this qualifying session is going to be heavily important. These are the most powerful bikes, and with some of the most talented riders on them here at FAB. We have a 10 bike grid this weekend, a nice amount of numbers for FAB. And there's Henry McCartney looking nice and relaxed, and Blake Wilson as well. And actually Henry McCartney looking quite frustrated on this opening part of the session. It looks like to me that Blake Wilson is looking for a slight tone, for someone to follow on the opening couple of laps. But right now, getting on with it is Bill Harris, Archie O'Brien and Wilson Dilk to make their way through the first sector at the moment. Bill Harris, some new fairings for him this weekend. A white livery bike, actually what they used to go to, the white and red for the Harris Racing colours and the Harris Racing machines. But there is Wilson Dilk looking nice and confident and looking ready to go. He has a clear visor on his helmet. He might be expecting some more downpour as we progress in this session, because right now the sun is definitely out, so it'll be getting in his eyes at some points around this circuit. But 6.5 minutes left in this session. It ticks down very quick. The opening laps are completed though, and Archie O'Brien is top with 56.9, but right now he's following Wilson Dilks. He'll get a toe down this hanger straight, and can he improve on it? So in the slipstream now, will Archie O'Brien be? And now they come down to the hard braking zone of the final corner of the hairpin, and now they come out, they power it out through. Will anyone improve? Will Archie O'Brien improve? A 52.611 from Archie O'Brien. It looks like he's powered out over at this lap though. He's going to have a nice breather lap, but 52.611 adds up. What an incredible lap time for just his second lap in these conditions.
Oh, absolutely great lap. Archie O'Brien currently with 3 pole positions in the Mini GP 70 class, and only one other rider has had a pole position, and that is going to Marco Holt. So at the moment, I'm sure Archie O'Brien will be confident going into that one. But Blake Wilson now takes the top in the road, and a red flag has been thrown out here. Not entirely sure, and this is a big incident, unfortunately. So we've had to call the session to a stop, and I'm sure this will be just neutralised completely. Everyone regarding the red flag, everyone regarding having to go back into the pit lane, and I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get this restarted. There's still 5.5 minutes left to go on the clock, but very worrying sight. But I'm sure hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah, we have some expert medics here at FAB. They're very, very quick at responding to any falls that happen here. But you can see some of the marshals there waiting. All the riders now are back in the pit lane, so obviously no red flags are to show at the moment. But moving away until we get some further information. The sun's definitely out now, and with this stoppage as well, it's going to let the track dry just that little bit more. And with the wind as well, it's going to help dry it out. And now it's almost at the turning point where you could almost question if you could get away with just tiptoeing around for a couple of laps on some slick tyres, or if you want to risk potentially overheating some wet tyres, which sometimes there can be nothing worse than running around on the motorbike on some wet tyres that are overheated. It feels like you're literally riding on jelly. It's horrific. The rear end wants to move around at every single opportunity, and it just doesn't feel like you can get the maximum power out of your motorcycle, which run this circuit, especially down, for example, the Hanger Straight, is what you need. And definitely out of the Hanger Straight as well, going towards the first corner, it's almost a dead stop there. So if you can get all the power to the ground as possible, you're going to want that. And obviously we've seen as well how tight this championship's been this year. Every single little bit counts. In the Mini GP 70 class so far this year, Luke Fitchett leads by 38 points over Marco Holt. It's been an impressive run from Luke Fitchett, but Luke Fitchett right now, multiple podiums so far this year, and he's just showing his confidence. And right now though, with Fitchett, it's been consistency as key. And there is Wilson Dutton on your screen, and Blake Wilson, the fastest lap time confirmation with a 51.988, and he's looking on to see if we're going to get restarted anytime soon. But we'll wait to see what is going to happen with this red flag Mini GP 70 session. But hello and welcome if you're just joining us. You've not missed any racing just yet. You join us during a stoppage in the LS2 Helmets Mini GP 70 qualifying 2 session, the final qualifying session of the weekend. So if you just joined us, comment down below and let us know who you're supporting this weekend. But Adam, as you can see, plenty of people looking on for this Mini GP 70 session, and it's definitely a packed paddock this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. It's great to see everyone here. A lot of smiley faces, a lot of friendly faces out here, and just looking behind them, our commentary box, we've got the entire paddock. It's an absolute great scene to have a look at. A lot of blustery winds you may be able to hear in our audio, I'm not entirely sure, but we're definitely getting it in our ears. But you can just tell that there's so many mixed conditions going on. A few away from the camera over there from one of our riders, so at least they're acknowledging that they are on the live stream. So at the moment we're still under red flag conditions, and of course throughout this session we have been on weather watch, we have been on watch for those dark clouds. We have been looking at the light cloud, which is a lot of blue sky on the left side of the circuit.
So you can see there are some of the food options available at this Llandow circuit, and I will say they do a pretty good barbecue pulled pork wrap, if I do say so myself, and also some chips. But they have plenty of refreshments and food for these riders to consume throughout a race weekend. But you can see Jamie King blowing a little kiss to the camera. He loves a bit of attention, does Jamie? But I'll tell you, this is one of Jamie King's favourite circuits in the whole of the UK. He'll love me saying that. And yeah, when he heard the news that we were coming here, he was absolutely delighted, to say the least. He actually had a bigger smile than that on his face. But Jamie King having a little chat with some of his mates and looking for more camera time, and now looking like he can't see the camera and posing for everyone back at home. But the riders still waiting, and the paramedic now making his way back to his car. So could we see a resumption anytime soon?
Oh, absolutely. As he said, Jamie King, you absolute poser. But hopefully we'll be getting our session and restart. We're just waiting for a few more official calls there in order to get this session restarted again. More riders continue to watch on as from the sidelines before going out onto onto track for their session. But as we said, a really lovely community here for FAB-Racing. It's so nice to have everyone here, always smiling and just being joyful. I've had a walk through the paddock already, and just a lot of friendly faces. I've caught up with quite a few riders, such as Chris Wells, but. Yeah, as we said, it looks like I think repairs need to be done to the barrier. I'm not entirely sure what happened in terms of the collision, but I think there's been a few tyre barrier repairs just to lift them up, and hopefully they'll be nice and safe for them the next time our riders come around. So there you go. This is the current track condition at the moment. A lot of dry there, and then of course the clouds are just starting to come over and loom. It's such a mix at the moment. Again, I look on my left and I've just seen complete blue, and then I look on the other side and it's pretty cloudy. And there you go. We've got the session back underway. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, and let's see what these riders are going to be doing, but how we're going to do for the rest of this session. But at the moment, we've not got a start at the moment. There we go. We managed to get going. I'm not entirely sure who that is from that far distance, but they're going to have to now just continue to keep getting heat into those tyres, start building up a rhythm, because that's been absolutely ruined by all of the waiting that has happened under this red flag. They've now got to get back up to confidence with the tyres, with their bikes, and then they'll be able to try and put in a lap. But I'm sure these tyres do take a bit of time to get up to prime usage. And hopefully they'll be able to put in some absolutely great lap times in the moment. But there you can see the number 85 there of Wilson Dilks being the first rider across the line. He is then followed, as we now see our camera just coming into focus, of Marco Holtz. Still Blake Wilson up at the top here with the best time of a 51.9. He's the only rider in the 51s, with Archie O'Brien then going into second. Austin Johnson has just jumped up into third place ahead of Marco Holtz and Luke Fitcher. I've been looking at the times here for the GP, Mini GP 50 and the 70 class. Luke Fisher doesn't seem as on form. He's struggling with something in that bike. It just doesn't seem to be that on form. He doesn't seem to be in that top three where he belongs. He's just around the mid-pack or mid to top, and hopefully that won't be damaging his confidence. Maybe hopefully he's just saving something, or just still trying to work out the session. But now 3 wide going into the hairpin, and you don't want this on your qualifying lap. But this is going to get pretty tense with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock.
3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this qualifying 2 session, and there's Mark Holt trying to get through Wilson Dilks, because these tyres are going to get very hot very quickly, so getting your lap time in as quick as possible is going to be super important. And right now jumping up the order is Luke Fitchett. Into third place is Blake Wilson, now sets the fastest lap of the session, a 51.495 on that last lap on the number 8 machine. Of course, Blake Wilson is getting double the track time this weekend, racing in the LS2 helmet, Mini GP 70 British Championship and the Pit Bike 140/Extreme 200 race, so double the track time. And there is Mark Holt. He's all the way down in 8th. He's been quite a lot of traffic so far in this qualifying session. As you were mentioning, Luke Fitchett, I'll speak to his dad. He says that he doesn't think his confidence is fully there at the moment with his braking after his crash at Ella Park, where it actually just went straight on into the tyre wall, but all is okay now after that. And Marco Holt, all is okay hopefully for him as he jumps up to 5th in the order. So 5th place at the moment. He's now getting followed by Archie O'Brien, who sits in second position. Austin Johnson went up to third before getting briefly pushed down to 4th by Luke Fitchett, who's now within that top 3 positions. Wilson Dilks now a 51.262, so 2.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying 2 session. What is going to happen? Lap times are dropping every single lap around this Llandow circuit. The lap record is a 46.9, but we're nowhere near that at the moment with these track conditions. As we see, Archie O'Brien, he's getting a nice tow, a nice slipstream off Marco Holt as now they come around the final corner. They'll power it out through. Will one of them improve? Archie O'Brien, he's currently in second. He goes top, a 50.8 from Archie O'Brien on the number 91 machine. What an incredible lap that was there. It really helped him follow Marco Holt, who also briefly jumped up to the top place of the session for about half a tenth before this man here, Archie O'Brien, went top. And it looks like, could we potentially see duel it out later on here today in the first race of the day for the LS2 Helmets Mini GP 70 British Championship?
Absolutely. Archie O'Brien with a great lap there. O'Brien has actually got only one only got 3 wins to his name, I believe. Sorry, no, that's wrong on my part. 1 win to his name. Meanwhile, Marco Holt has got 3 wins to his name. Yeah, some really close battles could be going on later on. I'm really excited to get into it. I think it's going to be so close between these 2 riders. They're going to really go at each other, especially with a championship on the line and possibly even promotion and bigger experiences. Only 2 riders at the moment in the 1 minute in the 50 seconds in the band, with that being Marco Holt, who's gone now to the top of the standard with a 50.6, and Archie O'Brien with his 50.8. So only both of those riders at the moment in the 50 band. Then it's going to be Blake Wilson. He's just outside with that 51.2. He's probably still trying to negotiate the circuit, try and build that a little bit of confidence. There's not much left, because we've got 25 seconds left on the clock, with Luke Fitcher currently now jumping up to 4, and that is going to be a good time. Last time out with that 51.4, but now through they go with Marco Holt, with Archie O'Brien following in pursuit, and these are going to be the last laps. Here we go, with 5 seconds left on the clock. 3, 2 and 1, and the checker flag will fall here at Llandow, so hopefully we'll be seeing the times. Fitcher's across the line, no improvement from him. Austin Johnson, no improvement from him. O'Brien looks to have backed off there, so he's happy with his lap time of a 50.8 at the moment. Blake Wilson has gone 3rd at the moment. Did I just see a yellow flag? I'm not sure if that's my eyes deceiving me, but was there a yellow flag? And there was, I think. So I think that everyone's having to slow down, but just continue to see Marco Holt. We'll have a look at that on the times as well, but he makes his way down through Reynards and now on towards the start-finish line, and he's done a 50.6 there, so just a 10th off from his last time out, but he's now stopped, and he will take that P1 spot. And there is Ollie Sims. He is also joining in for a practice start. Archie O'Brien in P2 in that session. Blake Wilson and Luke Fitcher with Austin Johnson rounding out the top 5. Ollie Sims there in 6th. A little chat there between Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien. I wonder what they're having a discussion about. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not. Hopefully it's friendly. But Bill Harris in 7th there with Harry Payne, Wilson Dilks, Finley Polhill rounding out the top 10, and Henry McCartney in 11 out of our 11 entries for this week, for Llandow. But yeah, some great action out in this session, and it's been absolutely great to see these riders going at it, especially with the changeable condition and the adaptability these guys have had to go through. It's great to see them progress and learn, and you'll be able to watch them just continue to learn throughout this session in these next couple of races.
Race 1 for the AC40 Pros is just moments away. The riders are waiting in the holding. Their attention is already starting to rise here in Wales, here at Llandow for the 5th round of the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship, and it's going to be an amazing weekend. It's going to be a quick weekend. Changeable conditions though for these riders, and it's going to be an enjoyable one. In qualifying, it was close times in the AC40 Pro class, where Taylor Tomlinson is going to be our pole position man here today. Tomlinson has had a great season so far in the AC40 Pros. You can just see how packed this field is, how packed the talent it is. Of course, this is the middleweight class for the mini motos here at Fab Racing. It's going to be a 10 bike field for this weekend's running. Will it stay dry, or will the rain come once again? The sun is out at the moment, but all the way throughout this weekend it's been on and off showers, and now you can already hear the wind. You can see the wind in the background with the flags, and this is going to be challenging for these mini motor riders.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be facing a couple of challenges as we move into the first race of the weekend. A few challenges to go by, of course, with that track still drying, having to negotiate the wet patch. You don't want to be thrown offline and probably go down on the deck, and that's not what you'll be wanting. So we wait for our pro AC40 pro riders to head out onto the circuit. We'll go through the grid with you in just a moment, but yes, a lot to look forward to in the first race of the weekend, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot to talk about. If you want the championship contention at the moment, it's going to be Taylor Tomlinson, who's currently leading the championship. He's got 8 wins to his name and 10 podiums, so really look out for Taylor Tomlinson. And then I believe that is Rex Austin.
So currently it's going to be a close run at the front anyway, to say the least. So Rex Austin, Taylor Tomlinson in the good battles this year. But actually, Taylor Tomlinson, the main issue it's been this year is just the occasional situations where he's leading and he makes a mistake, falls to the deck and makes the race far, far more difficult to himself. He's had 2 DNFs so far this season, and he's not going to want any more to his list, to say the least. But in this AC40 Pros, it's the first race of the day, it's the first race of the weekend for these guys. Taylor Thompson, though, leading championship by 60 points. It's a very comfortable margin at the moment, as now we're at round 5. We're at the midway point of the season, and it's going to be at that point in the season where you have to start thinking about the championship.
Absolutely, it's a classic to think about that, getting to the business end of the championship. You really have to start thinking about every single maneuver you do. Do you want to be going down the inside? Do you want to be risking it? Do you want to be risking it down that corner? Or do you think you should maybe make a move later on? Or do you not make the move and just stick with the point you've got in the bag? But these riders are now going to start focusing up, going into race mode. You see there Luca Allen struggling to put on a high vis, but sorry Luca, but he's helping out gladly. But we now get onto the grids, making our way onto the formation lap, and of course we've got Taylor Tomlinson on pole position to get another pole position. That's his 4th pole position this season, with Sebastian Gaslowski will be alongside him. Oliver Hall there in 3rd place, with Logan Cousins in 4th for the in the number 7. Rex Austin will be lining up in 5th. He's 2nd in the championship, 60 points behind, and I don't think you'll like to be able to see his championship rival in the P1 spot. Liam Lindquist, the Swedish rider, the half Swedish rider, in P6 at the moment, with Nicholas Dunwoody in P7. Josh Perkins will be lining up in 8th place on the 4th row of the grid, with Preston Baker who in 9th on his 93 machine. He'll be starting the 5th row of the grid, and he'll be joined alongside the Scotsman Bradley Curtis in the 71. But 10 riders will be taking the grid here in the AC40 Pro Championship. Now head round to the start-finish line, and we will get the race underway. Lewis, a lot of energy is building up to this. We're at the midway point of the season, and how are you feeling? It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Taylor Thompson on that pole position, less than 0.2 of a second separated Tomlinson and Gaslowski in qualifying, and last year that was the 2 rivals in the rookie class. What's it going to be in race 1 of the AC40 Pros? Tension is rising. They point to the lights go on, and then the lights go out and we go racing for race 1 of the AC40 Pro class. It's Sebastian Gaslowski who leads the way into turn 1 from his rival Taylor Tomlinson. Logan Cousins sitting there in that 3rd position, with Oliver Hall just behind in 4th. There is Liam Lindquist and Rex Austin just behind them 2 as well. Bradley Curtis right at the back of the field as well. But what a great start that was. Everyone cleanly through the first couple of corners. As now we're at the back section of the circuit. At 64 leads the way, and now there is Nicholas Dunwoody trying to pile on the pressure onto the back of Perkins. But what's going to happen in this race? It's a very, very short race, just 9 laps already remaining. These riders and these laps tick down very, very quickly. But now Josh Perkins, welcome to your picture on the 30 machine, is now coming down the back straight. Look at that, 3 riders, nothing separating them. Gaslowski, Tomlinson though, he is definitely trying to learn on these first couple of laps before he can plan an attack and make a move, and hopefully make it nice and clean and no contact will be made.
Absolutely, they've already made a gap there. However, the top 3 of Gaslowski, Tomlinson and Cousins, I think Tomlinson is now starting to go for a move here. He's already built up that confidence on that 77. He's going to try and make that move. Through they go in towards the complex and in towards the hairpin. Now we're just following following this battle just in behind of Lewis Hall leading Rex Austin. That's the battle for 4th place at the moment. He's just in that queue of bikes, making their way now down towards next corner, and they'll just continue to try and follow each other to see if they can poke up an opening in towards the chicane section here. You definitely the wind is picking up here, so hopefully they'll be able to just contend with that. But now back down the Hanger Straight, you can see that Lewis Hall making Oliver Hall, making his way now down the inside. Goes Rex Austin, but he's gone a bit too wide there. I think he's managed to get the position, but this.
Yeah, Rex Austin making his way through Oliver Hall at the moment. This is the battle for 4th position at the moment, and wow, what an impressive battle it is Oliver Hall already looking down the inside. Can he make it work? No, he cannot get to back out of that one there, but Oliver Hall trying a slightly tighter line through this technical part of the circuit, just hairpin after hairpin. But now Oliver Hall already trying to plan his next move. You can see he's using his head as Rex Austin, a 57.442 is his fastest lap at the moment, as Logan Cousins sets the fastest lap of the race, so a 55.695 in 3rd position. So Logan Cousins on that number 7 machine right behind these two riders is already closing in. So does Logan Cousins have the pace for the race win? You can just see now what was 2 riders last lap is now 3. So Logan Cousins looking for a move past Taylor Thompson. He sets yet another fastest lap of the race, a 55.368 was the fastest lap now, but Sebastian Gosowski still leads in the way through on Taylor Thompson. Now 3rd place man Logan Cousins, fastest lap of the race, already looking for a move on Taylor Tomlinson. So what can they do? These 3 riders, it's either pass or be passed at the moment, but there's confirmation of that fastest lap, a 55.368 from Logan Cousins. A super impressive time, as already Sebastian Gosowski is doing a super impressive job in these windy conditions, and to hold off and to not feel pressurised by Taylor Tomlinson behind.
Oh, absolutely. He's absolutely managing himself out front, but again, that sympathy's going to come into play. I think Tomlinson has got the confidence now to have a look down the inside, but no, that's going to be Logan Cousins having a look down the inside of the championship leader, and Tomlinson just covers it off. Cousins going tight there to the hairpin, so he's not going to get the best run, but Sebastian Gosowski is really managing himself out front. He's doing so well to just keep the pressure off, and with 5 laps still to go left of this race, he's got it in the he's not quite got it in the bag. There's still a bit of a job to do as they make their way now in towards 30s they go, and into McWilder, and then of course Tomlinson just still keeping on the pressure. Look how close he is, still about 2/10 of a second, but also he's got to contend with Cousins in behind, and does he just let Cousins go through? But of course he's a rider, he's a racer, he wants to make that pass for the lead of the race. He wants to be bagging the most championship points, but he's also got to take in the fact that he's the championship leader. That 60 points that 60-point lead could evaporate if all unravels. Again, Logan Cousins having a look to the inside. He likes that move, but he's just not quite confident there on the brakes. Had he got the exit? He has got the exit, but there goes Tomlinson back down the inside, and the door gets shut in his face. But they head through the chicane. Who can get the best exit through here? That's going to be something that's going to be repeated throughout this race. And there goes Cousins for the lead of the race. On Gosowski's got the inside, but no, Gosowski with more momentum just continues to cover off that move, and into the hairpin they go, and they'll head through Lancaster Curve. Look at Cousins there on the inside trying to find that traction, and they head in towards Chandler's, and then down for Spitfire Straight. We now switch to the battle here with Rex this is further back. This is Josh Perkins and Nicholas Dunwoody, and of course they're running in 5th and 6th and 7th with Liam Lindquist just following home in 8th. But there goes Gosowski, and now I think Tony Tomlinson has gone for a move down the inside here and out of the final corner of Raymond's, and we just will have an update on that one. Sebastian Gosowski had a Logan Cousins headed to Taylor Tomlinson in the top 3 at the moment. Logan Cousins on and set the fastest lap of the race, the 55.2. She's building up momentum and looking so quick throughout this circuit.
Yeah, right now, though, it's a three-way battle for the race lead. It's Sebastian Gosowski who still leads the way from Logan Cousins. Logan Cousins, a 55.279, yet another fastest lap of the race. Second position for him at the moment, and already he's trying to set his eyes on taking that race lead, a 55.279. What an impressive lap time, especially with these windy conditions. You can just hear it through the microphone there. As now they head down the back straight, they head down the hanger straight. Will we see Cousins make his favourite move once again? That's how we managed to get into second place, was get the drive out of the hairpin into turn 1. Can he make it work once again? No, he cannot for the number 7. Is he potentially planning the move, trying to see where Sebastian Kozlowski is weak? And there's Taylor Thompson down the inside, a last minute move. That would be something that Logan Cousins was not expecting. As Thompson now going for the race lead. Can he make it work on the 77? It looks like he's down to the inside, and he does. He makes it stick on the 77 machine. So third place, 2 first in 1 lap, and the fastest lap of the race, a 55.204 from Taylor Tomlinson. He is on a roll at the moment as he goes into the race lead.
He's really got that confidence in that bike, but he's still under pressure here from Sebastian Kozlowski. Kozlowski will be wanting that position back, but that's going to be crucial for Tomlinson's championship chances as he makes his way now down the hanger straight and on toward that corner. He's going to be in the middle of the circuit, just defending that inside line. So hopefully Kozlowski won't make the choice to go there. But I think he got the upper hand here. Has Kozlowski onto the final lap? They go diving up the inside, and he's got that position. And now Tomlinson is just going to have to stick in here. Will he decide to go for the second place? But again, he's got that run, and he's going to make the move, the same move he's done last time round. Logan Cousins couldn't do it. Tomlinson's done it twice in 2 laps, and now he's back into the lead of the race. But again, Kozlowski has got the opportunity down the curve and into that sweeping round the outside. He's got the position. They're switching this way and that way. I was going to say that Tomlinson has got the opportunity to be overtaken down the hanger straight, but can he go and do that now? Because of course the slipstream is going to be coming into effect. They head out to Diggers and now down the hanger straight, and it looks like Logan Cousins also grabbing a little bit of slipstream. Logan Cousins down the inside, and he's got that position for second. Tomlinson undercuts for the third for second, but it's going to be Kozlowski who wins across the line. Logan Cousins will take second place, and Kozlowski with the fastest lap on the last lap of that race. Incredible stuff there. Tomlinson will grab third. I'm not sure how he's going to be feeling. Hopefully he should be proud of what he's done, as we see another rider just watching on. But as I was saying, Tomlinson should be so happy with what he's done. He's got the points in the bag. He knows he's fast, and he has the capability to win, and hopefully he'll take that confidence in towards the next race.
Yeah, and you can see the red flag being waved there. So there was a red flag incident on that final lap after the checker flag came out. So majority of the riders coming across the line to take that checker flag, but just on the final part of the race there was that incident that caused it. But you can just see Logan Cousins telling everyone to slow down there. But Taylor Tomlinson and Sebastian Kozlowski will be having a conversation about that race and talking about what happened. But there's Bradley Curtis, who was the rider that had that crash on the final lap there. Luckily he's up on his feet. He was having a good battle down there in 10th position, but he crashed at the Dell, and luckily he's able to ride it back down to the pit lane on the 71 machine. So Bradley Curtis, it was a good race there from him until the final stages. A learning race for him as well. But as you can see, Sebastian Kozlowski, after our last lap shootout, takes the race win. Logan Cousins is in second place with Taylor Tomlinson in third. What an epic battle that was, that went down to the final corner in the final lap. That's exactly what we want to see from these AC40 Pro guys, and they will be talking about that and loving the battle that they had in that race, and hopefully we can see more in race 2 later on.
Absolutely, like you said, with Kozlowski getting that first win of the season, it's taking him to round 5 to get it, but I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with that. And that battle with Kozlowski, with Cousins and Tomlinson, that top 3 just proved to be the was the absolutely smash-pack action of the race. But there you go, Sebastian Kozlowski with a winning margin of 0.4 of a second. Fastest lap in the last race, of the last lap, sorry. But with Kozlowski now as a race winner, he'll be very, very happy with that, and hopefully take more confidence into the next round, the next races and the round after that. Logan Cousins in P2 at the Logan Cousins finishing in P2, and Tomlinson just finishing off the podium with Rex Austin in P4, and he just followed up by Lewis Hall and Nicholas Dunwoody in 6th, with Josh Perkins and Josh Preston Baker, with Liam Lindquist and Bradley Curtis on the number 71. He rounds off our top 10, and we move on to race 2. That'll be coming tomorrow.
Coming up next is the first race of the weekend for the AC40 rookies, and it's going to be an exciting race for these guys. The wins are up, and let me tell you, it's going to be tricky for these rookies. A massive grid, as always, and we have 20 riders that will be making the start, hopefully making the start for this first race of the weekend. The track is certainly dried out now, but there still is a couple damp spots around this Llandow circuit, a couple puddles still dotted around the circuit, so these rookie riders are really going to keep their eye open and have to look out for those spots dotted around the circuit. It's probably the first time this year that they've had to ride in these sorts of conditions. Of course, they've had some practice in the wet already, but this is really 50-50 conditions. It's slightly edging towards the drier side at the moment. You certainly wouldn't want to be on full wets or anything like that at the moment, because they would just get cooked and overheat. But these riders, a massive field, a lot of dramas about to unfold, and in very, very windy conditions, it's really going to affect them in this race.
Oh, absolutely. And then you've got to take into consideration the how big the grid is. 20 riders for this race, double what we had just previous in the AC40 Pros. But yeah, some really good young riders out here that have the opportunity, that have the possibility of going up to the pro category for next season. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how these guys progress over the course of the season, and see how they continue into next season. Do they continue with their confidence, or and how do they take their careers, or where do they decide to go? If they might want to go to the pit bikes, that's absolutely great, or they might want to go up to the pros, and then maybe even the mini GP 50. But a really, really amazing grid to have the AC40 rookies. But now we move on to the formation lap, and they'll make their way off the grid and on towards the grid. Jason Ansell will be on pole position, his third pole position of the season, and he'll be alongside Mason Fedrick, who lines up on second place on that number 5. Max Johnson will be third alongside Caelan Ratcliffe, with Jensen Seadras on his number 2. He'll be lining up on the third row of the grid alongside Kai Hawken. Henry Brody will be in 7th, with Arthur Rich in P8. Daisy Polden will be in 9th, with James Rich rounding out the top, the 5th row of the grid. Nellie Newth will be starting in 11th on her 44, with Tommy Williams will be starting in 12th. Austin Dilks will be 13th, the brother to Wilson. And Freddie Taylor will be in 14th, completing that 7th row of the grid. Ethan Bayliss will be 8th on the 8th row of the grid in P15, with James Dermont starting in 16th, with Finley Stills in 17th. Emerson Oakley will be starting in 18th place, completing that 9th row of the grid, with Tyler Shinawli in 19th, with Danny Longhurst only just making it here for race 1. And unfortunately, they've had a bit of a breakdown with their car, but luckily managed to get here ready for race 1. So that must have been a heroic effort to just get here onto the grid. But they're now lining up onto the grid, and the tension will now start to rise. Our riders get their final chats and checks into place. Their parents just having those little words of encouragement, just telling them what they could do. Maybe have a look down the inside here, maybe use this line, use more power here, be later on the brakes here. All these chats are now going to have to be put into the minds of our riders. And there we go. The parents now move, and we get race ready. The points to the lights, and we get set here. The lights are on, and we go racing here at Llandow. Good start there from Jason Ansell, but now in towards the first corner, and it's going to be Mason Fedrick. The inside line proving to be the best line here, and who's going to get the best exit out here is Jason Ansell, now falling down a position from pole position. They make their way now out of the hook and down the bomber straight and in towards the double curbed left-hander of 30, but that's Mason Fedrick who leads the way. But look how much they're pulling an advantage out from Jensen Seedras, and I think that's Caelan Ratcliffe there in P3. They head now down towards Lancaster Cove and into Shand as they go, just following the field as they make their way now onto the first lap, but in towards the chicane of the Dell. You can already see there Ansel not happy with giving up pole position that easily, and he'll already be going to try and get that position back. He's currently in the slipstream of Mason Frederick. Frederick, onto the brakes they go, and I think it's going to be just going to be a build of confidence here. Ansel still about 0.4 of a second behind Frederick. They make their way now around the first lap.
Yeah, Mason Frederick leads the way on the number 5 machine, and then just from the championship leader, Jensen Ansel, slightly wider line there, but Caelan Ratcliffe in that 3rd position ahead of Jensen Cedrus and Max Johnson, round out the top 5 at the moment, but 7 laps remaining already in this AC40 Rookies race, and you can just see how much of the track Jensen Ansel is trying to use and trying to gain up the time, but there is Max Johnson trying to catch and latch onto the back of Jensen Cedrus. And what is going to happen in this race? It's such a tight field, but Daisy Polton having the good ride, making her way up to 8th position, but Max Johnson, he's trying to catch up the time into the Dell as they power out through towards the Hanger Straight. Max Johnson will have a better drive, he will have the slipstream, and now powering it through. You can just see in front of these 2 riders is Caelan Ratcliffe, that is 3rd position, but Max Johnson, he's about to make his way into 4th position, or is he? As the door gets shut on him by Jensen Cedrus, as now we come towards the line to make it 6 laps to go in this first race of the AC40 Rookies. Max Johnson, he's going this way, that way, he's trying every line he can. He feels like he's faster, but it's one thing getting onto the back of someone, it's a complete different thing of being able to catch them. But as we can see now, they're coming towards the back section circuit. It's so tight, it's so twisty, you really need to use your head and just keep calm in these types of conditions. But you can just see how dry the track is now. There's barely any wet spots out there, as Jensen Cedrus, 4th position at the moment, 2nd number 2 plate on him, but battles all the way throughout the field, as we expect to see in the AC40 Rookies.
Absolutely, a load of battles all the way down our 20 bike field, and it's such an interesting perspective to see how many battles are going on out on track. But there you can see just going out your picture is Frederick ahead of Ansel, and now is Max Johnson, who's I think trying to get past here Jensen Cedras, and there you go, Max Johnson down the inside, but can Cedras get that inside line and cut back? He can't, he just hasn't got the power to be put down to try and get the exit he needs, and they make their way in towards the hook they go, and I think Max Johnson is now going to try and power on the pressure of Caelan Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe has been holding 3rd down for quite a while here, as we just follow Max Johnson. His lap time last time out with a 1 minute 1.9. Jensen Ansel currently with the fastest lap with a 1 minute 1.3, and Mason Frederick is still out on top here, but similar lap times there for Mason Frederick. But then look at Jensen Cedras. Cedras isn't giving this up easily whatsoever, and then I had their way now down the Hanger Straight.
Down the Hanger Straight they come, and Max Johnson is trying to catch onto the back of Caelan Ratcliffe at the moment. But there, further down the field, is Kai Hawkin on the back of Henry Brodie. So now, through the final corner, it looks like just slightly wide was Henry Brodie. Coming to the first corner, can Kai Hawkin do anything about it? Kai Hawkin, he's started in 6th position from qualifying, and he stays in 6th position in the race. And there is the AA lorry in the background. It looks like that might have been what run Danny Longhurst to the start of this race. But a battle raging on right now for these guys, and Henry Brodie just ahead of Kai Hawkin. A slight moment on the front there, the front wanting to tuck, but he managed to keep it up and keep it upright and kept going on the number 20. 4 laps remaining in this race. The gap between these guys last time around was absolutely nothing. It was just 1/10 of a second, and there's Henry Brodie smiling away. 6th position for him. He's doing a great job at defending from Kai Hawkin. Kai Hawkin, who seems slightly further up the field this year, but he's having a tough round so far, down in 6th position. Still not a bad result though, as as now, will the slipstream make any difference? As now we start to approach some of the back markers, this is where the race can change, and this is where the race is going to change for Kai Hawken, as Kai Hawken gets held up ever so slightly there, but it shouldn't affect him too much. He should be able to make that ground up, as now we head on to 3 laps to go.
Absolutely, the battle is starting to really ramp up here. The pressure is starting to really rise on these riders. They just need to try and stay confident. There goes Hawken looking around the outside, but in towards 30, just can't do anything about it. They make their way now onto Mac Weilers, and now through they go onto Lancaster Curve. A long sweeping right-hander, and can Kai Hawken nip down the inside? He can't. He's got to switch to that outside line, and onto the brakes they go. Maybe try and get a little switch back. They make their way now into Chandler's, down the Spitfire straight, and in towards the Dell they go. Kai Hawken still all over the back here of Henry Brody, and Brody has just got to try and keep himself in good company. But now at the moment they make their way now with 2 laps to go. Still Frederick ahead of Ansel. They make their way now onto P1, and I think that's we're just following onto this battle. We are indeed. Frederick still hanging on, a 1:09 there from Frederick last time out. Ansel 0.2 of a second faster than that time last time around. But of course the traffic now coming into play here, and they make their way now in towards Chandler as they go. And I think that's it. Ansel getting held up there, and that's not going to be what he wants. There goes Frederick. He's gone straight past one of our back markers, and Ansel trying to follow him behind, but he's just slightly losing touch ever so slightly to Frederick. He just wants to swing his lasso round and try and latch onto Frederick, but of course Frederick is just throwing that off and saying, nope, you won't latch onto me. I'll use the back markers, just try and create a little gap between me and you, and go on to grab a win. At the moment, that fastest lap going, not entirely sure, the fastest lap at the moment with Jensen
Ansel, fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 0.248, second place overall for him at the moment, and there he is. He was held up ever so slightly. There is our race leader, Mason Frederick, and just behind him is Jensen Ansel in the 22 machine. But we are on the final lap of this race, and Mason Frederick on that number 5 machine. He's had a very consistent ride. Some unluckiness from Jensen Ansel though, by getting held up by some of the back markers around this final part of the race, but it happens to the best of them. No blue flags here at FAB. It's just the luck of the draw, and the luck of the draw and the talent means that Mason Frederick, with just 1 corner remaining, should take this race win if everything goes well. Jensen Ansel still getting through some of the back markers there, but Mason Frederick will go on to take the race win in race 1 of the AC40 rookies. What an incredible ride for Mason Frederick ahead of our championship leader Jensen Ansel. His second race win of the season for Frederick, but Caelan Ratcliffe coming home in third in the fastest lap of the race, going to Mason Frederick with 59.9, the first rider to break into the 59s that race. But there is your race leader, smile on his face will also be under the helmet at the moment, as Mason Frederick finished ahead of Jensen Ansel, and third place went to Caelan Ratcliffe. But wow, what an incredible ride we had there. 2.3 seconds at the line, so you would say it was quite a significant gap, but that was not the story of the race. Jensen Ansel just got slightly unlucky, and up to that point, wow, what a battle we were in for.
Absolutely, but of course you've got to take in that his championship chances. Still leading the championship over Kai Hawken, and that gap would have extended due to Kai Hawken only finishing in 6th. He never meant he got past Henry Brody, but couldn't catch Jensen Seadras for extra points. So it's going to be Jensen Ansel extending that championship lead, and Mason Frederick actually going fastest of all on the last lap. 59.9. We've had a lot of similarity between the AC40 rookie and the AC40 Pride, but there you go. Mason Frederick is your winner of the AC40 rookies, ahead of the championship leader Jensen Ansel in P2 with Caelan Ratcliffe in P3. He completes the podium with Max Johnson in P4 ahead of Jensen Seadras. Kai Hawken P6 on his number 20 with Henry Brody in P7. Daisy Paulin in 8th with Arthur Rich and Freddie Taylor rounding off the top tear. A great race here in the AC40 rookies, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more action just like that tomorrow come race 2. And race 2 is going to be a whole action-packed day tomorrow. Don't forget about all these races tomorrow. Please join us tomorrow live from Llandow circuit for all our classes.
Hello and welcome to race 1 of the senior mini moto class. It's going to be big riders, little bikes. It's incredible to see every single time we see this circuit. We have some new riders joining the class this weekend. Look at Alan there at the back of the shot with the green levers on. Will be making his senior mini moto debut, I believe. So Noah Gilry actually looks like they're also out in the field, but some impressive riders will make the start to this race. But a lot of these riders now, only 10 riders making the start to the first race of the day for the senior mini moto class. So not the biggest field we've seen all year, but I am sure we're still going to see some great elbow outs racing from these guys. It's always incredible stuff, and with Josh Birkin starting in pole position, what is not to love? So Josh Birkin will be on pole position with Nick Bennett alongside him as the riders now head out on their warm-up lap for the start of this senior mini moto race 1, where Josh Birkin, after setting a lap time of a 56.552, will be starting in pole position alongside Nick Bennett in second. And the second row of our grid, we're going to have Keaton Payne and Callum White. After a great qualifying session, he'll be starting ahead of Holly Harris and Mark Payne in 5th and 6th on the third row of our grid. And Gary Eldridge will be starting in 7th ahead of Luca Allen in 8th, who I've heard complain about his straight line speed on that mini moto so far this weekend. But Jerome Richards and Rob Gentry will be rounding out our 10 bike field for the first race of the weekend for the senior mini moto class. But we're going to have to wait and see, because we're going to see some incredible racing. Only one Gentry is making the start to the senior mini moto race grid. It's not what we are used to seeing, and actually only one Birkin as well. No Matt Birkin will be making the start this weekend at all, as he recovers from a broken wrist, I believe. But hello and welcome. If you're just joining us, you've not missed too much just yet. You're just about to see the start, or the first race of the weekend for the senior mini moto class. It's a short but sweet grid. It's going to be some incredible racing. The riders are waiting for the lights to come on. The revs will rise on the grid in just a moment's time. The tension is already building, and now the riders look to the lights. The revs will rise, the lights go on, and the lights go out, and we go racing for the first race of the weekend for the senior mini moto guys. And it's going to be Nick Bennett who leads the way into turn 1. What an incredible start that was from him. Our pole position man, Josh Birkin, dropping down to 3rd position at the start of this race. So not what he'd be wanting at all, but up into 2nd place already is going to be Keaton Payne. But Nick Bennett leading the field on the 711 machine. What a great start that is. Already almost half the way around the lap. He's starting to try and build out a field, but Holly Harris making her way into 4th position. And there's Luca Allen looking down as Minimoto. I did hear him complain about some of the engine, some parts of the engine there, and having some issues. And you can already see hand is waving, hand is up in the air, and that looks to be a retirement early on in the race for Luca Allen. Disappointment there from him, but hopefully he can get sorted for race 2 later on, or hopefully he can get sorted for later on in this race and treat the rest of the session as a testing session, because we all know he's a quick rider, but very, very disappointing there from him. But of course, Nick Bennett at the front, 56.9, fastest lap of the race, as we see Luca Allen tries best to get that bike restarted. Can he get it done? It looks like it, so hopefully at least he can bring it back to the paddock. There's Holly Harris though, having her own battle, a 4-way battle further down the order, and that's going to be the battle for the final podium position, with Josh Birkin at the front of it. So Josh Birkin, he's not able to keep tabs with the race leaders.
Absolutely unfortunate heartbreak there for Luca Allen. He was, I thought he was going to look forward to the senior mini motors. That's of course why he's actually joined join the senior mini motor. But looking back up at the top of the field, Nick Bennett now with the lead of the race, and once again 3 for 3. The inside line, P2 has had the momentum to now go in towards the first corner, has ended up in the lead. Keaton Payne at the moment in P2. They now come across start-finish line. It's Nick Bennett ahead of Josh Birkin, and now looking down the inside there is Holly Harris coming back from injury, I believe. But Josh Birkin now in second place ahead of Keaton Payne. Holly Harris now attempting to try and have a look and see if she can get up into P3 here, just ahead of Keaton Payne. Payne managed to get up into second place, but of course got overtaken by Josh Birkin. So early pace in the race looking good, but of course Payne now with Harris all over, looking down the inside. There goes Holly Harris, not being able to quite complete the move there. Mark Payne is also in the background there, waiting to try and see if he can pick up any scraps of this battle. But of course now they make their way now back down the hangar straight. And there you can see Nick Bennett just leaning more towards his left. But there goes Harris down the inside, but the door looks shut now. Looks like Keaton Payne has got the better exit and heading on towards the first corner. And now can Harris go down the inside? But of course these mini motors, they're so wide because they're adults on small bikes, and it's just so difficult to get through. You don't want to be bumping into their knee. And down the inside goes Harris, but we now switch to the lead of the race here with Nick Bennett and Josh Birkin. Josh Birkin with the lead, with the fastest lap of the race with a 54.6, and Rob Gentry, I think, has been given a 3-second jump start penalty. So Rob Gentry currently now in seventh place at the moment. He's just dropped down there, but really unfortunate there for Rob Gentry in the one on the 147.
Yes, you can see at the moment these riders still racing on for the race lead, and now into the race lead is going to be Josh Birkin on the number 2 machine. Josh Birkin to the race lead. He currently has the fastest lap of the race as well, so all things are going well for the Birkin. The fastest lap of the race, a 54.680. that time around. Nick Bennett as well already losing some time there, a slight moment as well coming out of the first chicane, but Josh Birkin leading the way, 5 laps remaining, with Keaton Payne still in third ahead of Holly Harris. As it looks like Josh Birkin, he's already starting to bridge a gap and starting to run away with it. But currently this year, Josh Birkin, he's had a very impressive start of the season. Actually, there's Holly Harris already on the back of Keaton Payne. Holly Harris, of course, an ex-British Talent Cup rider. Now she moves to the British Junior Supersport class, riding for the FHO squad, where she had her best result last time out, with a very impressive ride there from her. But now she comes down to the hairpin, and now she makes the move on the final corner of the circuit. Will she run wide? Yes, she will. Keaton Payne trying to get the better drive out of it, trying to keep the racing line in. Yes, he does. And now Holly Harris fighting back into the first corner. Can she make it work? No, she cannot. 4 laps remaining, and it's already a battle for first and second, and a battle for third and fourth. But right now this class is all about elbows out race, and they're great friends off the track, but on track it's all about treating everyone pretty much as your enemy, as we're seeing right now. It's all for fun, and Holly Harris, she is showing how much fun she is having in this incredible battle with herself and Keaton Payne. But 4 laps remaining, who's going to get the better of each other?
Absolutely, Holly Harris trying this way, that way, and whatever. Her best opportunity, I think, is down the hangar straight, because she's tucked in. If you notice, she just tucks in a little bit. We now head in. You see that she's a little bit smaller, more aerodynamic, and she's just tucking in. Down the inside she goes. Can she get the move completed this time around? She's got to stay tight now and hope that Payne can't get the exit, and she's got the move done, and in toward the first chicane she goes. She's up into the podium place. But I do want to quickly go back to Nick Bennett. He and Josh Birkin. Looks like Bennett went wide there, so just out-braking himself just a little bit, and it was enough for Josh Birkin to squeeze himself down the inside, and he is now into the race lead. But great moves all the way down the field, with Josh Birkin making a move for the race, and Holly Harris making that move for the podium places. 3 laps to go still left on this senior mini-moto race. We now continue to follow with Nick Bennett. I think he's just fallen a bit back. Last time out it was about 0.6 of a second to the leader Josh Birkin, but of course Josh Birkin is no slouch in the senior mini moto. Currently the championship leader with 2 pole positions and 2 pole positions and 6 wins, 11 podiums to his name. Those are some numbers, but Nick Bennett had a massive challenge. I think he's got of course he's going to be on the front row for tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be able to just learn from this experience and hopefully maybe try and take his first win of the season. But they're just following now into the all Surtees they go, and into Mac Wires, and the gaps are now starting to form, and I think Harris is going to go and see if she can go after Nick Bennett, but I think it's a bit too far behind. 2.9 seconds last time round, and a few back markers in the way. Just have to negotiate that one.
Yeah, just trying to negotiate some of the back markers there. I believe that might be Mark Payne, because his last lap was a 1:20, so very, very off the pace, and that would look like someone who is off the pace is struggling with some kind of issue is Mark Payne. But now final lap time for Josh Birkin. He makes his way past the 88 machine of Jerome Richards, who's in 7th place, but Josh Birkin leads away with the fastest lap of the race, still that 54.680 that he set earlier on. But Josh Birkin, it's been an incredible ride for him so far. No Matt Birkin on show this weekend, so the sole Birkin, Matt Birkin, recovering from an injury. But wow, what a consistent ride it's been. In the initial stages of this race, it didn't look like he had the pace to keep with the likes of Nick Bennett. But as the race progressed, he waited and settled in and took his lines and got into a rhythm. And this is how you do it in senior mini motor racing. It is all guns blazing. And Josh Birkin, he's going to crack open the throttle down the back straight, down the hanger straight for one final time. Nick Bennett, if he makes one mistake, will be on his tail. But coming around the final corner, Josh Birkin making it yet another win to add to the books and the trophy cabinet. Josh Birkin takes the race win in race 1 of the senior mini motos, and second position is Nick Bennett and Holly Harris claiming that final podium position, holding on to it at that final lap. And Keaton Payne as well coming across the line with we await for Gary Eldridge and Callum White as well. So great race there, and great shootout between first and second and third and fourth place. So really, no matter where you looked within all those 10 riders, all those 9 riders actually, once Luke Allen retired, there was battle all the way throughout the race. And wow, that is what we love to see. It was what we have come to expect from senior mini motor racing.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the eye catchers when you come to a FAB-Racing event. Of course, these adults on tiny little bikes to proving some great racing and really putting on a show for, of course, the ones that are at home. I do hope you're enjoying the live stream. If you are, comment down below. Tell us who you are supporting. If it's whichever rider, or maybe it might be a team that you are supporting. But let us know down in the comments. But there it is, Josh Birkin adding wing number 7 to his collection this season, ahead of Nick Bennett, who took a second place there, equaling his best finish of the season. Speaking of best finishes, Holly Harris grabbing her first podium of the season and her best finish. So that is an incredible result for her, ahead of Keaton Payne and Gary Eldridge, with Callum White there in P6. Jerome Richards finishing in 7th with Rob Gentry, unfortunate with that 3-second jump start penalty, but he is only going to grab 8th place and 8 points for his effort, with Mark Payne in P9. An unfortunate DNF there for Luca Allen, who really had of course it was all over before it even got going. So unfortunate debut there for Luca Allen, but hopefully he'll be back, and hopefully he'll be joining us for the race 2 and race 3 of the senior mini motors tomorrow.
Coming up next is the elite class of mini motor racing in the UK. It's the LC40 elites. They made their way to the grid for what is going to be an action-packed race. It's going to be an interesting one. It's sunny conditions here at Llandow. The rain has definitely disappeared, and it's going to be conditions that the likes of Byron Johnson, who's on pole position, is going to want to have. He's had a great run so far this year, and even last season as well in the LC40 Elite. So Byron Johnson, he's going for the championship this year, but he has tough competition in him. 13 riders are going to make the start for the LC40 race. They were in the 56-second, low 56s in qualifying, and that is how this man here, Byron Johnson, is going to start on pole. Alongside him, though, is going to be Oliver Hall in the number 3 machine, with Lewis Hull and Ollie Sims on the second row of our grid in 3rd and 4th. Bradley Curtis, racing the Scottish Championship last year, now here at FAB, starts in 5th place. Of Logan Cousins starts in 6th. He loves this circuit. He's been having some great pace all weekend. Hopefully he can try and convert it into something better than 6th. Liam Lindquist will be starting the race from 7th position, with Sebastian Kozlowski in 8th place, and Taylor Tomlinson, his arch rival from last year, in 9th, just behind. Matthew Thomas as well, down from where we would normally see him, down in 10th, ahead of Nicholas Dunwoody and Rex Austin in 11th and 12th. Josh Perkin starts in 13th place as well and rounds off our grid for the LC40 Elite. So some riders not where you would normally expect to see them in the grid, in the running this time around. So hopefully we can see something special in this race. It was very wet conditions so far in practice and in some of the qualifying sessions as well. So hopefully with this dry run, hopefully they can find something special. We can see some of these riders, like some Matthew Thomas, certainly making his way through the pack. I think the ones to watch in this race are going to be your Taylor Thompsons, your Matthew Thomases, and even potentially your Rex Austins, who's going to have to make their way from 10th position or lower. So we await to see. The final checks are being done on the grid. The tension is certainly built here in the commentary box. On the grid, it's going to be something else. The riders are waiting to get going. Lee Klaus at the front. She points to the lights. The lights will switch on before going off. Lights are on. And the lights are off, and we go racing for race 1 of the LC40 Elites. It's going to be Oliver Hall who tries his luck into turn 1, but Byron Johnson leading the way. Bradley Curtis, though, getting his way into 3rd place. So Bradley Curtis from 5th to 3rd. Wow, what a start that is, just by them. It's Lewis Hull, and Taylor Tomlinson from 9th position has made his way into 5th. So incredible starts from everyone. It's been a great start, and now Oliver Hall trying his best to keep on to the back of Byron Johnson. As soon as you let Byron Johnson get into a rhythm, that is when he starts to run away. Rex Austin there at the back of the field. He missed the warm-up lap there, so he had to start at the back. But Byron Johnson on the 37 machine leads the way through the Dell for the first time. Then they flick it down to the right towards the hangar straight, towards the back straight, where slipstream and power is absolutely everything. And someone like Lewis Hull will be losing quite a bit of time, but Taylor Thompson is still trying to make his way through the order. He's just ahead of Ollie Sims at the moment, and Sebastian Kozlowski just behind in that trio of riders. But Oliver Hall there already, he's going to start feeling some pressure from Lewis Hull. Lewis Hull, he's on an air-cooled bike as well, and he's got quite a lot of disadvantages down the straights. He has to make quite a lot up on the brakes. But Ollie Sims as well, leading just behind these riders anyway, and he's having a great run. But 8 laps remaining in this LC40 Elite race, and already tension and drama starting to build for the 2nd place position, and Taylor Tomlinson as he gets passed by Ollie Sims for that 5th place. So the top 5 battle is going on at the moment. Bradley Curtis leading it in 4th. So impressive run, and these riders certainly are the one to watch. Of 6 riders in this battle for 4th.
Oh, absolutely. You can go any way, any direction, and they make their way now down the hangar straight, and leading that battle is the 71 of Bradley Curtis. Looking down the inside, there was Ollie Sims, just wanted to have a look and see if he could pop his tyre in, but no can do for the moment. There goes Taylor Tomlinson having a look down the inside, but once again the door just gets shut on our number 77, and he needs to now try and get the best exit. Looks like Ollie Sims has got a good exit, but into 30s he gets covered off there by Bradley Curtis, the Scotsman, doing what he can to try and just fend off the 4th place, as Ollie Sims to continue to try and just hound Bradley Curtis. And they make their way now in towards Chandler's, and they make their way now down the Spitfire straight and in towards the Dell. They go through the chicane. Who's got any confidence? Can you find an extra bit of grip, extra bit of confidence, extra bit of speed through this section? And then down the hangar straight they'll go. You just see out of your picture there, that is Oliver Hull and Lewis Hull making their way, but going down the inside there goes Taylor Tomlinson, actually going around the outside of Ollie Sims. So he's managed to get that 5th place back, and now this is just helping Bradley Curtis just a little bit here. The battle between Tomlinson and Sims has opened out the gap slightly, but of course Taylor Tomlinson has got lots of pace on that 77, and he is not afraid to go down the inside. We saw it earlier. He was involved in that massive battle in the AC40 Pro class, and he knows exactly what he has to do. This is kind of his training ground, his learning ground for the championships that he's leading. But now look at Nicholas Dunwoody there, looking down the inside of Ollie Simpson. Moves all being made all over the place here, and you've just got to try and fend them off, as well as attacking the rider in front. Again, Dunwoody having a look there at Ollie Sims. We now look back at the battle for second, just going out of your picture, still Oliver Hall on that number 3, ahead of Lewis Hall on that 41. And then again, look at Taylor Tomlinson just defending from Simsy, just in behind, but still Byron Johnson with the fastest lap of the race, out in the lead by 3.5 seconds, 53.6 for Johnson. But just continuing with this battle, it's getting heated up here at Llandow.
Certainly is. Track conditions are heating up as well around the circuit, and Bradley Curtis still winning this battle, still defending from Taylor Thompson as he tries round the outside. Can he make it work? Can he get the drive? No, he cannot, and this is going to allow Ollie Sims to get ahead and get into 5th place because of that mistake. Nicholas Dunwoody as well, just by ready to pounce on Tomlinson, as Tomlinson potentially going to get a little bit flustered here as now Matthew Thomas tries to go round the outside of Nicholas Dunwoody as well. So battle certainly heating up. Sebastian Gosowski at the back of this field as well, but Bradley Curtis under pressure from Ollie Sims, as who is under pressure from Taylor Thompson, who is under pressure as Matthew Thomas makes his move onto Nicholas Dunwoody. So Nicholas Dunwoody being passed by Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas making his way through the field and making his way into what is 7th position now as well. So 4 laps remaining in this race, and 4 to 9th. There's absolutely nothing separating them. This is going to be one for the history books, as Ollie Sims dives down the inside and Taylor Tomlinson follows through. So Bradley Curtis dropping all the way back to 6th place there that time around. So from 4th to 6th in one corner goes Bradley Curtis, and it just shows what can happen in the LC40 Elite class. This is the premier class of mini motor racing in the UK. This is the stars of the future, and this is the road to MotoGP. What can these riders do? 4 laps remaining. They're about to come into the final sector just to make it 3 laps. There's still windy conditions around this circuit, so it's going to be a tricky one for these guys, as Byron Johnson sets yet another fastest lap of the race, so 53.4.
Oh, absolutely. Byron Johnson absolutely blitzing the field at the moment. Oliver Hall still in 3rd with Ollie Sims now. I think Bradley Curtis is now down, and that is Bradley Curtis.
Lewis Hall there, down.
Hall. Sorry, my apologies there. But yeah, now elevates Ollie Sims now up into the podium places. Look at Taylor Tomlinson all over the back there of Simsy. And so Simsy's just got to keep defending this position with 3 laps to go. And looking in behind here, Bradley Curtis. Yeah, as I said, he was falling down a couple of places, and he's now at the expense of Matthew Thomas. So really unfortunate there for Lewis Hull, who was doing so well on that 41, but absolutely just unfortunately crashing out and on the deck, and that has ended his race. But there's Tomlinson now going down the inside here of Ollie Sims. He's got that inside line, but sweeping around the outside. Simsy just defending his position, and across the start-finish line they go with 2 laps to go. This is the battle we're all laser focused on, because this is the battle for the final podium spot, and Tomlinson, who is just trying to make sure he knows absolutely everything he needs to go into his main class at the championship leader. He's currently sitting in P4 in the championship in this one, after being overtaken by Harrison Day with his triple win last time out. And there goes Tomlinson having a look around the outside, but I think that pressure is going to go all the way down to the final lap of this race. Still Byron Johnson leading the way as he crosses the line now with a 53.2. So he's also just completely out in front on his own, and he's just getting confidence where he can. Again, there goes Taylor Tomlinson looking down the inside. Can he go later on the brakes? No, he's not going to risk it there with Ollie Sim, and they're just going to stay in their position. Onto the final lap they go.
Onto the final lap we go now, and Ollie Sims still defending from Taylor Tomlinson. As I said, Harrison Day, he got a triple win last round. No signs of him here at Llandow this weekend. But Byron Johnson, our race leader, leading by over 10 seconds at the moment, as Matthew Thomas tries his luck on Bradley Curtis at the moment with 1 lap remaining. And it's going to be a tricky one to call at the moment. But there is our race leader already into the final corner. So Byron Johnson, he comes to the line to dominate race 1 of the LC40 Elite class. What a dominant ride that was for him. What an impressive and mature ride that was from him. But Oliver Hall should be coming home in second place, as well as Ollie Sims defending from Taylor Tomlinson. There's one corner left on this circuit. Tomlinson down the inside. Tomlinson making the move. Stick, will he run wide? It's going to be a drag race to the line. Taylor Tomlinson claims that third place in a last lap shootout between himself and Ollie Sims. But Byron Johnson, your race leader, your race winner by almost 14 seconds. Oliver Hall, an impressive ride in second place, just not able to latch on to Byron Johnson on the first couple of laps. Taylor Thompson wins an epic last lap shootout for that third place, with Ollie Sims in fourth. Bradley Curtis as well rounded out our top 5. But wow, what an incredible race that was. Byron Johnson, he dominated at the front, but really all eyes were on that battle for third.
Oh, absolutely. Byron Johnson blitzing the field there with the fastest lap, of course, to the 53.2. I think the only rider actually in the 52. But there you go, Johnson up in P1 with Hull in P2, and Tomlinson just rounding off the podium there, just finishing a tenth of a second ahead of Ollie Sims. Bradley Curtis there in P5. The Scotsman, I believe, with his best finish of the season, with Matthew Thomas in 6th and Dunwoody 7th, with Gaslowski there in 8th. And there's going to be Rex Austin and Josh Perkin rounding out the top 10, with 3 DNFs being Lewis Hull, Logan Cousins and Liam Lindquist.
Coming up next is race 1 for the Moto Team class, and it's going to be an impressive race for these guys. It's a slightly smaller grid compared to usual, but there's still going to be as much racing. There's the 133 machine getting a quick jump start to the line, so that is going to be your pole position man, Team SFC Racing, and there's going to be 7 starters to this race. It's going to be an impressive ride because conditions are almost perfect for a race. Although it's very, very windy around this circuit, the track is nice and dry. The tyres will be able to get up to temperature. So hello and welcome. If you join us on the formation lap for race 1 of the Moto Team class. Team SFC Racing will start on pole position after a 56.912 in qualifying. Team Acme Racing will start the race from second position with the number 1 plate on, with Team Pinky and the Brain in third, next to Team Ernie the Badger on the second row of our grid in fourth. Team Keats Racing will start in fifth, with Team Bear in sixth, and Mazda Martlew rounding out our 7-bike grid for the Moto Team class. So what are we going to see in this race? It's going to be pure drama, to say the least. That's what we normally see from these guys. 2 classes in 1 race. There's a lot to look out for in the Moto Team class.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be a lot to look out for. Even though there are 7 runners in this race, of course, there's still going to be some tight battles in, and of course, there's an open championship to look into and a standard class. So 2 different classes going on at the same time, and this is going to be one to look out for. We'll keep you updated on how each class is going, but they'll make their way now round to the grid. And there you can see that on the left hand side, on the right hand side of your picture, is Team SFC Racing. They are currently in the standard class, I believe, and they have another pole position. They have their second pole position of the year, alongside Team Acme Racing in P2. They are also in the standard class. But they make their way now onto the grid. Watch for the lights. The lights are on. We get ready. We go racing here at Llandow. Who's got the best start here? Looks like Acme Racing with that inside line. But it's going to be the 133 there of Team SFC Racing. They managed to just keep themselves ahead. They make their way now out of the hook and on towards the bomber straight. And who's going to get the best move? Here they go. Round 30 they go. And already Acme Racing under pressure here from the the 01 of Team Pinky in the Brain there. So two different classes already going into a battle, and then the Keats have managed to get up into P4 ahead of Team Ernie the Badger, and that is Madison Martley, who is having issues at the back there. I'm not entirely sure what may be the problem there, but our top three just continuing through the Dell they go, and on towards Diggers they go, and round onto the Hangar Straight. It's still Team SFC Racing ahead of Acme Racing, and there you go, they're starting to split away from Team Pinky in the Brain, and the pace really showing here. But of course, it's all for fun and all for their own enjoyment. But now Team SFC just now starting to feel the pressure from Team Acme Racing. They'll start to apply the pressure, and this battle could go on for the entirety of the race.
Yeah, Chris Wells as well. He wasn't meant to, he's not on our starting grid for this race, but he has made the start. So we have 8 bikes out on circuit at the moment. Chris Wells from the back of the field is in 6th place on the 331 machine. But Team SFC Racing, a 57.9, the fastest lap of the race, goes to them in 1st place. Just 4/10 of a second ahead of Team Acme, who are then a further 1.7 seconds ahead of these man here, Team Pinky in the Brain. So these three riders separated by not too much, and I think as this race progresses it's going to be an impressive battle, because these two riders at the front, these two riders are in the exact same class, the open class, both of these guys, while Team Pinky in the Brain in 3rd place is leading the standard class, with Keats just behind, 2nd place in the standard class for them. So a great race so far, 9 laps remaining in this race, and the hardest part about this moto team class is the fact that they're so big. The wheels on these bikes are so big, and they're so hard to manoeuvre around this Llandow tight and twisty circuit. But hello and welcome. If you're joining us, you join us in the middle of the motor team race 1 here at Llandow for round 5 of the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. Team SFC Racing set another fastest lap of the race, a 55.533. Just following behind is Team Acme Racing, a 55.675, their personal best lap of the race. But not too many laps remaining, 9 laps remaining in this race, and so far nobody can break free of this lead. It seems like it's kind of a chain reaction. No one can stay, no one can be able to actually bridge a gap. Team SFC Racing, 0.8 of a second is the gap between 1st and 2nd, but they can't extend it any more than that at the moment, it seems.
Absolutely, of course, Team SFC and Team Acme both locked in a battle here, and I've just seen a bit of traffic just out to our commentary window, and I think there could be just approaching now near the end of the race. That's something to stick into contention. At the moment, we're just following the Keats here at the moment. They're currently sitting down in 6th position, so they got a really good start, found themselves up into, I believe it was 4th place, the lofty heights of 4th, but being overtaken there by Ernie and the Badger and Chris Wells. They have now just fallen a couple of places. Moto team, of course, you will also see team the Keys car will also be on the sidecars, so look out for them later on. Of course, they've had issues in the qualifying session, having to park it up in the qualifying. And looking at our time screens here, Team SFC Racing now with the best time with the 54.5, a half a second quicker than Team Acme. But just looking now down the Hangar Straight here, the 339 of Team Burt, looking down the inside of Keith, and look at that, having a bit of a barge there, and there goes Burt up in towards taking P6 away, and I wonder how the Team Keats bike will react to that one.
Yeah, the Keats, one thing we know is that they fight back, so we're going to wait to see what they can do about that one. Down in 7th place at the moment after that move was pulled off by Team Bert. 7 laps remaining in this race. 7th place for Keats on the 666 machine. Can they fight battles? Wait and find out. Or does the Bert machine simply have the pace? So now we'll wait to see. One person who does have the pace is Team SFC. Another fastest lap there from him. Of 54.115. It's a very, very important race actually for Team SFC, a very important round, because 45 points was the gap between Will Howarth and SFC Racing heading into the Llandow weekend. But Will Howarth are no shore this weekend, so after race 2, if SFC Racing can pick up a double race win, they could potentially see a new championship leader. But there is Team Bert coming out of the final corner, powering it out through to make it 6 laps to go for them. They're down in sixth place at the moment, just behind Chris Wells, who we weren't expecting to start this race, but he has. And of course, a very, very experienced rider in the motor team class himself. So these riders, some of these guys actually do not have wet tyres for the weekend, so they were praying that the heavens were not going to open and the rain was not going to fall around this Llandow circuit, and luckily it didn't. You can just see how dry this circuit is. It's not rained in hours, and it's exactly what some of these guys would be wanting. But for example, if you're an expert in the wet, you'd be wanting the exact opposite. But right now, lapping Madison Martelou is the race leaders, Team SFC Racing. The guys with the fastest lap of the race, a 54.115 by that team on the 133 machine. Of course, this machine was ridden by Darren Anderson quite a lot, and he's showing his pace and it's showing his consistency. But at the front, they'll lead the way almost 5 seconds now. What an impressive ride it's been so far.
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic to manage to get away from Team Acme, just wiggle them off their rear, and now with 4 laps to go, they're in now prime position to go on and take this win. They're already lapping Madison Martelou. That's already dispatched, and Team SFC Racing have just got to contend with their own race. Team Acme Racing falling a further 1.4 seconds last time out. So of course, Team SFC Racing being absolutely no slouch. But looking at our open classes, currently Team SFC Racing ahead of Acme Racing, third and second overall, and then it's going to be in P4 overall. It's going to be earning the Badger on the 119, and that is Team Acme Racing with a problem, big problem. I'm not entirely sure what might be going on. Hopefully that can be refixed, but it doesn't look too promising for Acme Racing, running in second place. And I was wondering if that could be the problem, why the lap times were a little bit slower than Team SSC Racing. Maybe that was an ongoing problem, and I'm sure that's going to be parked up in just a moment. Still just trundling around the circuit. We now pick up with Team Pinky and the Brain, and there's Madison Martelou just making their way around the chicane, just on that lovely dark blue and yellow Aprilia, a lovely livery.
Yeah, great ride so far from the Team Madison Martelou machine on that Aprilia. And yeah, it's a really great ride so far. And there is Team Anthony Racing coming into the pits. Now, although their pace hasn't been quite SFC, they haven't had an ongoing issue because their times were pretty much the exact same, actually quicker than what they went in qualifying by half a second. So in the race, something just went wrong, and it was cruelly something that they couldn't continue with. But Madison Martelou, they're in 8th position. They'll pick up a position after that retirement as well. But of course, if you want to get involved in the Motor Team Championship, feel free, get in contact with any one of these riders, or even the FAB-Racing website, FAB-Racing Facebook page, or any one of the FAB-Racing riders. They'll happily point you in the right direction. This is one of the cheapest classes to go racing in, especially the standard class. All you need to do is buy a road bike, take out the lights, and you can practically go racing with that and the number. So yeah, it's been super impressive to see this class grow over the years. Some of these bikes as well, and some of these riders will obviously race in other championships to do endurance races with them. So this is a real great testing ground for them to get data and to help them learn the bike and get more experience around this circuit and in these tricky conditions, because around here the wind is still going out. You can see actually quite a lot of chatter there on Chris Wells' front end, and he just doesn't look comfortable on that bike at all. But he's still having a good ride in 4th place at the moment. As now we head on to the last lap of the race. Team SFC Racing has already crossed the line on the 133 machine, on that red and white machine, and hopefully if they can just keep it upright for half a lap, they'll be able to turn it in to a race win. Look how relaxed they look on the motorcycle at the moment for SFC Racing. They've had an impressive run, an impressive ride, but an impressive weekend so far. They started the race on pole position after setting a 56.9 in qualifying. Then on the race, they smashed that lap time with a 54.1 coming from that team. They've stretched the gap to almost 18 seconds throughout this race. It's only a 10-lap race. How impressive is that? How impressive has this ride been from SFC Racing as they cross the line to take the checker flag and to take the first win of the weekend in the Motor Team class? Who's going to win the standard class? Will it be Team Pinky in the Brain as we await to see Chris Wells there coming over the line for 4th position? But we await to see as there is the free 9 machine of Team Bert, and now coming across the line, there is Team Pinky in the Brain. Disappointment there from him, although he won the standard class and got 2nd overall, and Ernie the Badger should come home in a very, very impressive 3rd place overall. But Team SFC Racing, 19.9 seconds at the line. There was nothing you could do to stop them.
Oh, absolutely. Team SFC Racing, I reckon they're at a barrel right now. They're about to go on a roll, and hopefully, for their sake, they might hopefully try and collect 3 wins. A pole position, 3 race wins this weekend would be absolutely perfect, and that would take them into the lead of the championship of the open class. But now they head in towards the paddock, and we get ready for our next race. But we'll make our. Yeah, you can already see the riders making their way into the
holding area. Yeah.
Holding area.
But yeah, what a great race that was. Them can both agree. SFC Racing winning by 19.9 seconds over Team Pinky in the Brain. Ernie the Badger coming home on that final podium position. Chris Wells finished in 4th with Team Bear in 5th. Team Keats finished in 6th, and Massa Martlew rounding out our finishers that race. But what a great race, and still 2 more races to come this weekend. Next up is a class which has exploded this year. Is going to be the first race of the day for the Mini GP 50 class. 23 riders will make their way to the grid for race 1. So hello and welcome if you're just joining us. You've not missed anything just yet for the Mini GP 50 guys, as they are just waiting in the hole there to go out for what is going to be a frantic race. We've seen all year how impressive and how close this class has been. Marco Holt, pole position man. Marco Holt, the leader of the championship. 46 points separates Marco Holt and Luke Fitchett in the championship, heading into round 5 here at Llandow. We're just 15 miles away from Cardiff here in Wales. The sun is beaming down on the circuit. The riders will be beaming with excitement as now they make their way onto the dummy grid before we can get underway for the first race of the weekend for the Mini GP 50 guys. You can just see the immense field that we have here, the immense talent that we have here. It's one of the stepping stones. It's usually the first time actually that these riders have been on a geared motorcycle, so it's quite a lot to learn for them, and now it's going to be quite a lot to do for everyone else in the field, because Marco Holt, he got pole position by almost a second, but of course mixed conditions at that time around. So what can happen this race?
Oh, it's going to be so close. I think there's a lot to contend with, and we're in for a really exciting race. A couple of new joiners to the grid, and we'll go over them when we eventually take on the grid. But yeah, really looking forward to this race. We've got an absolutely stacked grid, and like you said, it's been constantly expanding, and it's been a pioneer kind of event. Or race, I should say. But yeah, a really big class and eye-catching class to look into. But we'll get ready for the formation lap, and we'll take you on to our grid. Marco Holt, yes again, his 4th pole position of the season. He will line up alongside Byron Johnson in 2nd place. Frankie Watson will be in 3rd place. Alongside Austin Johnson for P4. Archie O'Brien will be in P5 on the 91. He's a little bit behind on the pace, but he'll be trying to make those jumps and maybe trying to get a podium place. Luke Fitchett in 6th place. He'll be hoping to make up some positions as well, as he's starting only in 6th place. So Wilson Dilks, also someone who's a little bit lower down on the grid, with Finley Polhill in 8th place. Matthew Thomas there in 9th with Jensen Bishop ending up the 5th row of the grid. Taylor Tomlinson with his best qualifying position of 11th, with Seth Hayward in 12th, with George Ackerman ahead of Chloe Gleason. Travis Shaw ahead of Riley Paisley, with Tyler Hartley and Bethany Ashby on the 9th row of the grid. Lucy Curtis will be in 9th with Ollie O'Gorman in 20th. Harley Baker and ahead of Alabama McCarthy, and Callum Maxwell rounding out the 23 riders which will take to the grid. Lewis, what are we expecting? It's a packed down grid, and it's going to be a whole load of riders heading towards that first corner. What are we expecting? Yeah, although it's the daytime, I think we're expecting some fireworks to go off here. 23 riders, a lot of talent on this field, and a lot of riders to try and fit around this Llandow circuit. It's such a tight circuit, such a twisty circuit. But can Marco Holt do it? Can he convert a pole position into a race when it's different conditions to qualifying? Every rider, all 22 riders behind him, is going to want to do one thing, and that is try and beat him. But there's Wilson Dilks, I think, having some issues, but that has been checked. That is all good, and drama is over for him. But the lead class will point to the lights. The lights will go on. And we go racing for race one in the Mini GP 50s, and straight away it's going to be Marco Holt who leads the way into turn one. Frankie Watson making his way into third place. Luke Fitchett as well in fourth place at the moment. Austin Johnson in fifth as there we see Archie O'Brien having some issues at the start, dropping down to seventh place, but Marco Holt leading the way. Our race leader from the outside row, from pole position, is leading the way by an impressive margin. The front two already breaking away, but Finlay Paulhill as well there. Further down the order, everyone's through pretty clean at the moment. Ollie O'Gorman as well, some duct tape on his bike from a crash in qualifying, but there is going to be our race leaders making their way through the Dell, and it's such a tricky part of the circuit, but track completely dry at the moment, and you can just see there, bone dry for these guys, so these guys can push on at the front. Wilson Dilks looking down the inside, further back on Austin Johnson. It's going to be tight in there. He pushes him wide. Can Archie O'Brien also capitalise from that move? But Marco Holt leading the way. What's it going to be? 0.2 of a second at the line from Byron Johnson. Frankie Watson in podium positions. We've seen him get his podium, first ever podium, last time out at Ella Park. Can he get another one this time around? He's got Luke Fitchett behind him, though. It's a very, very tricky opponent. Wilson Dilks as well, just behind this lot as well, and Austin Johnson, Archie O'Brien, Finlay Paulhill. The four riders behind Frankie Watson are so quick and so impressive, so it's going to be a tricky one for him to keep them behind with 9 laps to go. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic out here. Marco Holt still out the lead of the race, but Frankie Watson with a great place at the moment. He's currently sitting in third place, but he is leading his whole entire pack, and it's not going to be easy with look at that, Luke Fitchett in behind. I think I saw also Wilson Dills, like here's Wilson Dills. Then he's leading a group of 6 bikes there, so any moves can be made. Of course, Austin Johnson, Archie O'Brien and Finlay Paulhill are at the back of that one. They make their way now out of the hook and on towards Bomber Straight, and in towards 30s they go. This is the double left-hander kind of corner. You don't really see that with the tyre barriers in the way, but I've seen that is a double left-hander, so you want to be hitting both curves to get the best run through there. And on toward they go, through Chandler's they go, and now down the Spitfire straight. Holt at the moment with a good lead, 8/10 of a second last time out over Byron Johnson, but still Frankie Watson still holding on to that third place. And this, again, like you said, it's going to be a really tough ask. There goes Watson. Fitch is still having a look. I think he's just trying to build up that confidence as they head now past our commentary position and on towards chicane they head, and then towards a very tight corner. Really got to slow down now. You've got to really power out and get the best exit you can. And just following there, Austin Johnson is falling down to 7th on our time screens, but I think Luke Fitchett there taking third position. So Luke Fitchett on the final podium positions on the number 7 machine, ahead of the number 14 of Frankie Watson. So Luke Fitchett finally making that move. It's a very aggressive move there, giving no time for Frankie Watson to think and try and fight back. So now what's going to happen? 7 laps remaining. Wilson Dilks, will he be the next one to make a move on Frankie Watson, or will Frankie Watson manage to latch on to the back of Luke Fitchett and try and run away from this pack? Because it's a 6-rider pack at the moment. It's not what you want to be in, because you're just going to get mixed up. You're just going to drop back even further from the front 2. And actually, talking about the front 2 at the moment, as we see Luke Fitchett there in third, there's a crasher there and the back section of the circuit. Very disappointing there from the number 17 rider of Riley Paisley. He's up on his feet though and out of harm's way now, but Riley Paisley, his visor as well came off there, so he's just walking away
from that incident. But Marco Holt, our race leader, 9/10 of a second at the line last time around. So we see the Roman Marshals doing a great job. But there is Frankie Watson still trying to keep with Luke Fitchett, but he's fell back ever so slightly into the clutches of Boston Delks, who looks down the inside, but I don't think he's able to do it. He's too far back, as Archie O'Brien also has a look. The fastest lap of the race has just went to Byron Johnson there, a 50.770 last time around from Byron Johnson in second place. The gap there between the front two, just 7/10 of a second. Last time around, it was 9/10, so I think we're going to have a battle for the race lead. There he is, the number 37 machine of Byron Johnson, fastest lap of the race, 50.77, and I think now, Adam, we have a battle for the race lead on our hands with just 5 laps remaining.
Oh, absolutely. The time is running out, but there's still a good battle going on here. This is Luke Fitchett just in third at the moment. He's managed to escape the clutches of Frankie Watson. Watson's still holding on for third there, but that is Marco Holt now feeling the pressure. You saw he threw a defensive shake now, and on towards the first corner they go. Holt now feeling the pressure, but looks like on the anchors they go. Johnson just couldn't get past, but now look how close they are, tyre face to tyre face, staring each other down on the rubber. And there goes Byron Johnson for a move. Taylor Tomlinson has gone down, and that's really unfortunate for him. But we now need to look back at the lead here, and there goes Marco Holt. Holt still holds it with Ollie O'Gorman just getting in the way. So that move from Byron Johnson was just unsuccessful. But the head now in toward the Dell, just another chicane to try and rattle some confidence or some rhythm they have in the rider, but they'll just go through it. And the number 71 there of Lucy Curtis getting in the way. Marco Holt instantly on the anchors, and look at Byron Johnson. He's just snaking through, just trying to make himself as slim as possible, just slip through the gaps with Marco Holt. Just continue to follow him. If you're going to go for that gap, I'm going to go through as well, and I'm going to put you under pressure and try and snap this win with 3 laps to go.
3 laps remaining in this race. Marco Holt, your race leader, 50.817 is his best lap of the race. Not the fastest lap of the race, though, as that still belongs to the rider behind. So Byron Johnson, he's still piling on the pressure. Last time around, it was just 0.2 of a second that separated these two guys. They're in the final sector at the moment, towards the Dell and then towards the hangar straight before we get on to what is going to be 2 laps to go. It's going to be a shootout between these two guys, between the 58 and the 37. Who's it going to be? Place your bets now, folks. Let us know down below who you're supporting this weekend and who you want to win, because Byron Johnson, he leads and gets the fastest lap of the race. A 50.620 is now the fastest lap of the race to Byron Johnson. 0.4 of a second. Sorry, Marco Holt actually getting that fastest lap, 0.4 of a second. And what a great lap that's been there from him. Byron Johnson just behind. He has a 50.7 there from him. So now getting past Tyler Hartley, getting held up actually, was Marco Holt. So Marco Holt held up ever so slightly. And now Byron Johnson trying to find a way for it, going around the outside into the Dell. Can he make it work? Yes, he can. Marco Holt, that was the inside. He gets the door shut them though. And now Byron Johnson takes the race lead as we head towards the final lap. George Ackerman there, that was on the 94. But there is Marco Holt looking down the inside once again on the 58. Final lap time, folks. The last lap flag is out. Can Marco find a way through? Can he be able to get past Byron Johnson? Annabelle McCarthy is just ahead of these guys. Will she get in the way? Where will they get him? As Marco goes down the inside, tries to box in Byron Johnson. Byron Johnson makes a pathway for Marco Holt as now they head into the twisty section, the back section of this Llandow circuit. We're 50 miles away from Cardiff. It's fireworks here in the Mini GP50 on the final lap of the race. The 37 still leads. Byron Johnson still leads by 0.2 of a second at the line last time around. He has quite a comfortable margin heading on to the straight. Can Marco Holt get any kind of drive, any kind of slipstream into the final corner? He's going to look for it. He's going to dive for it. The 58 goes for the move on the final corner. He cannot make it work. He'll not have the drive. And Byron Johnson takes the race lead and takes the race win by just 0.2 of a second at the line. What an impressive run that was there from him. The first race win of the season goes to Byron Johnson at round 5 here at FAB-Racing, here at Llandow. Marco Holt comes home in second. Luke Fitchett holds on to third, but Frankie Watts as well in fourth. He managed to keep ahead of all those riders, but wow, what a final 3 laps of that race.
What a way to win your first race of the season, just like that, and defeating the championship leaders to go with it. Oh, an absolutely fantastic performance there from Byron Johnson. He must be absolutely beaming from ear to ear with that performance. He has now got his first win in the bag. That will bring up his confidence, and hopefully he can take that into tomorrow. You saw a little bit of a gesture there between Holt and Johnson. Really respectful between the two riders. They battled so hard throughout that final lap. Well, the final, of course, throughout the whole race, because they were just tooth and nail all the way through. Celebrations from other riders there, giving hugs, and it's absolutely it's great scenes here at FAB-Racing, and these are the stuff we live for. There's Taylor Tomlinson getting his little word in after his unfortunate retirement, but absolutely fantastic scenes, and Luke Fitchett just rounding out to the podium. But there you go, Byron Johnson by 0.2 of a second goes on to win his first race of the season. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, with Marco Holt in second place, collecting 20 championship points. Then that will be crucial toward the end of the season. Luke Fitchett there in third, ahead of Frankie Watson and Archie O'Brien with Austin Johnson ahead of Wilson Dillon and Paul Hill, and then Jeff Bishop with the 10th place of Harley Baker rounding out the top 10. What a race we've had in the Mini GP 50s, and hopefully you'll be joining us tomorrow where you'll be able to catch race 2 and race 3.
Next up is a joint race. It's the Pit Bike 140 and the Extreme 200 class. They are coming up for race 1. It's going to be an exciting one. There's 15 riders coming to the grid. Half of them are the Pit Bike 140s, half of them are the Extremes. We have an Extreme 200 bike on pole position in the form of Sullivan Mountsie. This one is going to be exciting. Blake Wilson will be starting this race from second, just 0.3 of a second. Currently it's extreme wind all the way around the circuit, and the sun is certainly out, and certainly better conditions than what they had in qualifying. In qualifying it was mixed, it was slightly damp in places, and they were trying their best to say the least. But Sullivan Mountsie, he's going to be wanting a good race this time around. He's going to be wanting to try and take a race win. What a special occasion it would be if you could take the race win, not only in the Extreme 200 class but overall in the Pit Bike 140 class as well. But final couple checks being done on the grid and showing riders what position they're actually meant to be in. But that's James Ratcliffe getting put in 10th position for the start of this race on the number 40 machine. But Lee Clowes heading to the front of the grid, and Roger Keys as well, having a little check at the front just to make sure everything is okay to his standards. As now that Sean Whittaker as well pulling up to the grid and pulling up to that final spot at the back, and Jamie King the last man to the grid. Sonic the Hedgehog on the levers, but clearly not to the grid, as now they head out on their warm-up lap where Sullivan Mountsie on the number 4 will be on pole position. Blake Wilson on the number 8 will be alongside him, with Noah Gilroy in third. Gareth Roberts will be starting in fourth place of Liam Wood, and Billy Stewart Campbell on the third row of our grid. It's great seeing Billy Stewart Campbell back on the motorcycle race grid once again. Philip Soroviak starts in 7th, with Jamie King in 8th. Chris Wells and James Ratcliffe will be starting in 9th and 10th, with Keaton Payne and Shannon King starting in 11th and 12th, and Billy Lawrence, Ollie Sims starting on the 7th row of our grid, with Sean Whittaker rounding out the grid in 15th place. So Adam, what are we going to expect from this Pit Bike 140 Extreme 200 joint race?
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal to see, of course, having a little bit of a slowdown here, but really looking forward to this race. Of course, these two combined, it's absolutely incredible to see, with two actual championship leaders, of course, Chris Wells, who is starting P9. He is the current championship leader in the Pit Bike 140. Then you've got Sullivan Mountsie on pole position for the Extreme 200. So it's going to be a wild mix here with Blake Wilson lining up in second. But can he now go on and try and take the lead in the first in this race? Because now we get the points to the lights in just a moment. Everyone now clears the grid and we wait for the lights. The lights are on, the revs arise, and we go racing here at Llandow. Good start there from Blake Wilson, and he now leads into the first corner. Sullivan Mounsey gets pushed out there, and now here they go through the first couple of corners. I think that was Gareth Roberts managing to make his way up to into third, but they now swoop through along Bomber Straight and in towards 30 they go. And Blake Wilson with the inside line takes the lead of the race away from Sullivan Mounsey, but Sullivan Mounsey is absolutely no slouch, and he will do what he can to try and retake that lead. Of course, he's in the lead of the championship at the moment, ahead of Casey O'Gorman. But of course, Casey is in the Red Bull Rookies, so he's all over Europe at the moment. So is Zach Torian, but I don't think he's in attendance at the moment. So Mounsey has got a great chance to go and nab some championship points at the moment. He'll only be earning 20 with those with that second place, but a couple of moves being made into the final corner. And Blake Wilson now really starting to feel the pressure, but he's just got to now maintain his own race. A couple of moves there being made for third, fourth, fifth. There is the half Polish rider Filip Srobiak there, and Noah Guillory is just rounding out that fight there in P6 at the moment in the Extreme 200s. Of course, the Extreme 200s are faster than the pit fight 140, but there goes Sullivan Mounsey up the inside, and he's taking that opportunity nice and cleanly and up into the lead of the race. This will be a familiar sight in the Extreme 200 class. If you want to join us later on, just subscribe on YouTube to FAB-Racing, and you'll be able to put the notification bell on and catch up with all our live streams. Down in towards the final corner of Raymond's, and Sullivan Mounsey has regained the lead here ahead of Blake Wilson, but this battle is going to go on all race long, down to 9 laps to go, and that number 4 and number 8 are once again in a battle. We saw it in qualifying, they were going out to swapping positions for first place, but now they're doing it for real in the race.
They certainly are. Now 9 laps remaining in this race. Sullivan Mounsey, he's been working quite a lot with some of the mini GP70 riders like Blake Wilson, especially likes to Luke Fitchett, so he knows quite a lot of their mindsets, knows their riding styles, and helps them out on the circuits. This battle will only do both of them good. So it's great to see Sullivan Mounsey back here at FAB, of course, racing last weekend at Snetterton for the RNG British Talent Cup. A tough weekend for him, but actually similar conditions this weekend, mixed conditions throughout the whole of the weekend. There's Filip Srobiak, another RNG British Talent Cup rider, in third. He's been having a lot of mechanicals this year in the Extreme 200 class. Bailey Stewart Campbell right now on the back of Gareth Roberts. This is the battle for 4th place at the moment. Bailey Stewart Campbell, he'll stop professional motorcycle racing to go and do some basketball, but now back on 2 wheels, and wow, it is awesome to see for the number 9 machine. But there is the 75 of Filip Srobiak, of course, a previous Mini GP70 champion, and now comes into the back section circuit looking very, very confident on board his Honda, of course, changing from the KTM 85cc machine. 3rd place at the moment. Sullivan Mounsey has the fastest lap of the race though last time around, the 49.015, 3/10 of a second ahead of Blake Wilson last time around. So the number 4 still leads from the number 8 as now they power it out through. Is it going to be any new fastest laps this time around? Yes, it is. Sullivan Mounsey, a 48.861. So Sullivan Mounsey, is he starting just to bridge a gap and bridge away from Blake Wilson, as now the gap goes up to 0.6 of a second with 7 laps to go. And now we're being told that Ollie Sims does not have a transponder fitted to his machine, which means that if he's not going unfitted at all, he would be disqualified. But it's going to be investigated after the race to just see if it's simply a transponder that's not working or if he's not fitted on his motorcycle. But Ollie Sims making his debut in this class this weekend as well. He's a busy boy this weekend, is Ollie Sims. 3 classes in 1 weekend. As we see Bailey Stewart Campbell still on the back of Gareth Roberts.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really unfortunate there for Ollie Sims. With that transponder, he won't be getting any of those points that he deserves. But now in towards the final corner of Reynard, and I think that was this battle just continued. Stuart Campbell just continuing to try to continue with this battle, and on the inside there, and this is a battle that's really going on. So Gareth Roberts being overtaken there, 4th place there. I was kind of losing where the position were, but Bailey Stewart Campbell just overtaken there. Extreme 200 lead is being led by Sullivan Mounsey, 48.6 last time out, 9/10 of a second still to Blake Wilson, and he's kind of a mentor to a lot of young riders. So he's kind of the mark where all these riders have to be trying to hit. But of course, he's teaching the younger ones to become better, and hopefully he's being a massive role. And he's also going around the UK in another series. But looking at the pit by 140s, Liam Wood is currently leading that one ahead of Jamie King with Chris Wells there, and this is the lead for the moment right now. And it's Liam Wood having a look and just having to defend here from Jamie King. Sonic is on it as they make their way out of the hook and on towards Bomber Straight. And Chris Wells is just sitting in behind here, currently leading the pit bike 140 class by a good margin here. But over Lucas Brown, who is in attendance, currently runs 9th overall. But there goes the 76 of Jamie King, looking down the inside, but he's just got to bide his time here. Going into the Dell we go. The chicane before the hanger straight is the best. You've got to try and get the best exit, probably the most crucial exit on the circuit. Down the hanger straight they go. And now there's Jamie King having a look on the inside. Can he outbrake the 94 of Liam Wood? And they're still side by side, and just having to back under. Chris Wood trying to get in on the action on that 62. So these guys are really going at it in the lead for the pit by 140 class. And look at King there, just doing what he can on the through surge as he goes. And now it's all about trying those different lines. But he's got to be so careful because Chris Wood is no slouch. He will happily nick a position if he sees one. There goes King looking around the outside. I thought he got his tyre ahead, but unfortunately he couldn't get it. I think he lost a little bit of momentum. Wells just gaining in there, just staying on the back here because look how close Wood and King is. They're just staying right with each other. A little shake of the head there from Jamie King as he makes his way into the braking zone. There goes again Chris Wells. Really wants to try and get that move, but I think he's best to just try and back out and see if these guys collide, because there goes Jamie King trying to use a different line as Liam Wood just continues to lead the way here in this very tight battle for 7th overall. But remember, this is first in the pit by 140 class.
Pit by 140 race leader at the moment is Liam Wood from Jamie King with the Sonic the Hedgehog helmet, and now he's trying to go round the outside. Can he make it work? Actually, some smoke coming out of Jamie King's exhaust there into that corner, but Chris Wells just behind these two riders. He'll be seeing that. He's got a little gap separating himself and the top 2 riders ahead, but 2 laps will be remaining once he crosses the line next time around. But the 94 of Liam Wood still ahead, but Jamie King, he's trying absolutely everything at the moment as he comes around the final corner. He wants this race win. He would love to have his first race win of the season for the Pit Bike Sonic YouTube channel machine, and there is the 76 rider of Jamie King giving absolutely everything. He's trying his best, he's trying his hardest. Of course, a previous Pit Bike 140 champion. He looks down the inside, he has to back out of it though, and no way through on Liam Wood this time around. Let's check the lap times last time around, and actually the fastest rider out of these front 3 Pit Bike 140s rider was Jamie King in second place. So Jamie King, he clearly has the pace, only a couple thousandths of a second separating them to be fair, but still Jamie King, he's got able to make the moves. As right now Sullivan Mounsey, he made the move earlier on Blake Wilson and stretched the gap to 2.9 seconds for the Extreme 200 race lead onto this final lap of the race now. And Blake Wilson, there was nothing he could have done on the final stages of this race. Phillips-Roviak still in that 3rd place as well, but Sullivan Mounsey, it's definitely been a better weekend so far than what it was at Stetterton for him. He's able to be on the pace straight away. He has a little look down at his bike, but he will not mind. He's in a dominant ride this time around. So it was an epic battle and hanging knee slider, but Sullivan Mounsey, he takes the victory in race 1 of the Extreme 200. Blake Wilson, wow, what a great ride that was from him. As Phillips-Roviak, after all of the mechanical issues he's faced with that machine, he comes home in 3rd place in the Extreme 200 class. What a great ride that was. That was Sullivan Mounsey's fifth race win of the season on the number 4 machine. And now he wins by 3.1 seconds. It's now Jamie King who looks round the outside on the final corner for the pit by 140 race win on Liam Wood. But Liam Wood, he's just going to take it at the line. Jamie King, there's nothing he could have done. Chris Wells comes home in third. So your race winner for the pit by 140 race was Liam Wood. Jamie King comes home in second with Chris Wells in third. Overall, 7th, 8th and 9th from them guys. So overall, from the combined race, wow, what a shootout. Although the top 6 bikes were the Extreme 200 riders, it was still an epic race for both classes. Silva Mincy about to come and celebrate with Oliver Hall there in Park Fermi, absolutely buzzing, and actually giving them a backie back to the paddock and some extra TV time for Oliver Hall, so no complaints there. Billy Stewart Campbell as well, making his way back into the paddock. But Silva Mincy, 3.1 seconds at the line, fastest lap of the race as well, and taking the race win from Blake Wilson in second. Philip Soroviak taking third place in a final position on the podium, with Billy Stewart Campbell in fourth place. Gareth Roberts finishing in fifth, with Noah Gilroy rounding out our Extreme 200 class. Liam Wood, our race winner in the Pit Bike 140 machine, and 7th place overall. Jamie King finished in 8th, with Chris Wells in 9th, and Sean Whittaker rounding out our top 10. What a great race that was there from the Pit Bike 140 and the Extreme 200 class, and I cannot wait for race 2 and 3, and hopefully we can have more conditions like this.
Absolutely, I think it really showed that these two classes really go well together. Of course, they're not going to be side by side. Extreme 200s, Pit Bike 140, of course, they're completely different. But please make sure you tune in to the race 2 and 3 for the Pit Bike 140s and the Extreme 200s tomorrow. Moving on now to the sidecars, a really eye-catching class here in the FAB-Racing paddock. And once again, we see Mick Williams lining up on pole position here ahead. And I think that's going to be Jason and Leo Greenstreet lining up in second. But actually, they've actually had to switch. So it is Jason and Leo Greenstreet on the pole position. But a bit of a confusion going on, unfortunately, here, but they've managed to get into their correct grid slots. But a second pole position of the season for the Greenstreet sidecar, that's going to be so crucial to them, and again, another confidence builder, but also another opportunity to then go on and take a win. They had a really good LO Park last time out, and they'll be hoping to try and get the triple down. Jason and Leo Greenstreet on pole position ahead of Mick Williams and Michael Elms. They'll be sharing the front row of the grid. Vince Bailey and Amy Tilbrook will be lining up in third place on that in the 369 sidecar. And they'll be joined on the second row of the grid by the MP sidecar on 457. John Hosker will be starting in fifth. Problems for Hosker in qualifying, as you hear earlier on the broadcast, with Mark Parker and Ems in sixth place. They'll be sharing the third row of the grid. Jamie Alexander in their splattered painted number 11. Martin Hills will be on that sidecar, and then it's going to be the Keats once again having problems in qualifying. Another sidecar having problems, and they will be lining up in eighth. 8 riders, 8 sidecars taking it to the grid, and they make their way now around the circuit and they will have a look at making their way to the grid and lining up in their slots and getting ready for the first sidecar race of the weekend. Of course, Jason and Leo Greenstreet really wanted to build some confidence here, but of course, look at where Mick Williams and Michael Ems are. Mick Williams has got a really good opportunity to nab the lead. Of course, the inside line had been shown to be the best line here, but now the look to the lights. The lights are on, the race rise, and we go racing here at Llandow. And here goes the Greenstreet car, managing to cover off Mick Williams here to make their way now in toward the first chicane, and through they go on toward the hook, and they're still going at race here, and they make their way now down Bombershot. I think that's the Impies managing to make their way now up into third, but this is going to be the battle of the race. This is going to be so close throughout these 7 laps. They're competing. I think there's a mistake there from the dark blue of the green sheet, and there goes Mick Williams on the inside line. He's going to elbow the number 90 out, and there goes Mick Williams into the lead. But now can Jason and Leo Green Street now find a way to try and get back past, try and get find a way through, but down the hangar straight they go. They're trying to override the sidecar. You can already see, somebody down already. Who is that, Lewis?
It's Jamie Alexandra and Martin Hills stopping at the side of the circuit there on the number 11 machine. But McWilliams and Michael Elms taking the race lead on the first lap of the race. Not a good start initially, of course, with that 2-stroke motor. Trying to get it in the power band was quite difficult at the start, and the 4-stroke of Jason Leo Greenstreet got the better off the line, but now it's all about who has the race pace. 59.3 last time around from McWilliams and Michael Elms, while in the minutes was Jason Leo Greenstreet. 0.6 of a second separated the two machines at the line last time around, 2 outfits. What's going to happen though, because Jason Leo Greenstreet, we've seen towards the end of qualifying, they kept getting faster. Was that due to conditions, or do they have better late race pace? And Chris and Robert Impey as well in third place at the moment on the 457 machine. There they are, a colourful outfit. But McWilliams and Michael Elms defending that inside line, actually heading into the final corner. 59.396 was the fastest lap. They'll probably beat that now. Yes, they do. At 57.476, only 4 tenths faster. Well, 5 tenths faster than the outfit behind them. So still very, very close at the front. 1 second separating them two at the moment. But Jamie Alexander and Martin Hills, John Hosker and John Keats having issues, so only 5 sidecars managing to remain in this race. But Jason and Leo Greenstreet, there they are, second place machine, and they look to them this weekend and looking quite relaxed at the moment. Maybe they feel confident that they will have the pace later on. 5 laps remaining in this time, so if Mick Williams and Michael Elms makes one mistake, they'll be on the back.
Oh, absolutely. That's what they're looking for at the moment. I think there was a little bit of overriding in the early stage, and that's what's cost them about a second or maybe even 2, because that gap looks to have extended as Mick Williams heads into the final corner. And there you can just see in the background, that is the Chris and Robert Impey 457 machine making their way currently into P3. Those two actually currently with 6 podiums to their name, I believe. Sorry, no, that's the wrong stat. 5 podiums to their name. So hopefully they'll be adding on a couple more when it comes to coming on to these first of 3 races. But these guys are really trying their best here. They may not be up to the pace of Mick Williams and Jason Leo Greenstreet, but the best thing is that they enjoy themselves. They enjoy their time here at FAB-Racing and on their sidecar. It's an incredible class to be in, and a real eye-opener to new viewers that come in to watch FAB-Racing Mini Bikes British Championship.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's allowed the likes of Jamie Alexander and Martin Hills to be able to make their FAB-Racing Mini F1 sidecar debut this season, and they were currently in 6th position until they had a mechanical issue where they're sitting out. You can see Dale Baldwin, the FAB-Racing photographer, at the side of the circuit at the moment with his camera out, of course, taking pictures of these racers, of these riders on these sidecar outfits. But there is Vince Bailey and Amy Tilbrook down in 4th position at the moment. A good ride there from him, of course, husband and wife having a great ride at the moment in the Mini F1 sidecars. They just love their motorsport to these guys. They go to plenty of BSP races, even some of the Grand Prix, and now look at them go. It's actually a little bit slow there. It's their first ever season this year using a 2-stroke motor, so just struggling to get in the power band there was Amy Tilbrook and Vince Bailey, but it looks like they've got it all sorted now. They've got it properly in the power band. A slight lift actually of the wheel there, and you can just see how technical the circuit is. Just one small mistake, just too much weight transfer, and you can be on 2 wheels or even 1 wheel in some cases.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to be flipping one of these, because they're absolute monsters. I've seen multiple clips of these, and especially commentating on these sidecars. They're so they're so unique. You're such a unique vehicle. You don't really expect something to be made like this, but now having a look back at the lead with 2 laps to go, bearing in mind this is the battle for the lead. Mick Williams still ahead of the Jason and Leo Greenstreet in a sidecar, but going onto the grass out of Maguire's. But that was so close. But it looked, as we said, they have now decided to gain up to the back of that 26 sidecar, and maybe could try and put in a move coming onto the last lap. But now down the hangar straight they go, and hopefully they're hoping to try and make their way down down onto the main straight they go, and across the line. I'm not trying to see where they are. Cameras aren't quite working, but there you go. We're back with the live action, and it's still the 90 just in behind it. We make our way onto the final lap of the race. Mick Williams just doing what he can to try and just hold on to this lead at the moment. I'm not entirely sure if they know that the 90 is right up their chuff, and they make their way into this hairpin, and through they go out of Lancaster Curve. Mick Williams is doing what he does best, but he's still just trying to hang on from the Greenstreet sidecar. But now they go down the Spitfire straight, only a couple of corners to go, but this is going to have to be a big sector from Jason and Leo Greenstreet. It's going to have to be huge to try and nab their first win. And we now swing our way around and on towards the final corner, and on towards that final corner. And there goes the Greenstreet. They've made that move, and that is going to be it. The first win of the first race of the sidecars goes to the Greenstreet. What is happening there? And I can't believe it. We've just swung our camera around, and there goes the Greenstreet. And if by magic they have won the first sidecar race of the weekend, and then Mick Williams will be in second. With there comes Chris and Robert Impey to come home and get their 6th podium of the campaign, and that is an absolutely fantastic result. What a sidecar race. A lot of drama, even though despite having our only 5 sidecars making it to the finish, it's been absolutely brilliant having these sidecars, and that's how close that battle at the end for Vince Bailey and Amy Tilbrook got, and Mark Parker just finishing Jamie Alexander, who's managed to actually get going. So those two actually with the best last time of 7 minutes and 28 seconds. I've just been pointing that out, and Mark Parker and Mike and Ems just finishing in 5th place. So great stuff there. A little wave for the camera from Jason and Leo Greenstreet in their black and blue leathers. It's been an absolute amazing race we had, and that 60-point difference is going to come down only to 55 points. 25 points going to the Greenstreet, and Mick Williams will pick up another 20, so that's just going to narrow it down by just a little bit.
Yeah, incredible race there in the Mini F1 sidecar class, and it was an impressive last lap there from Jason and Leo Greenstreet on that number 90 machine. But you can see Dale Baldwin there at the side of the circuit, of course our photographer here at FAB-Racing. You can see having a little sip of water before we are getting ready for our final race of the weekend. But the Mini F1 sidecars, great race once again, and certainly the best racing that we've seen in a long time in the sidecar class is coming in 2023. But you can see clouds still around this circuit at the moment, and still a chance potentially of some rain here at the Llandow track here at Wales. We're just located 15 miles away from Cardiff, so we're pretty low down in the country at the moment, but everyone here always loves their trip here to Wales and their trip here to Llandow. And there was some doubt that the round may have even not happened this year, but luckily it has. Luckily we're here. You can just see the amount of people that's turned up for this race weekend has been great. So many people stopping at the side of the road, for example, looking at the track and watching the racing unfold, and potentially getting their eyes opened to a whole new form of motorsport that they didn't even know existed. And this is the FAB-Racing Mini-Bike Championship. It's super unique and just has a variety of different bikes. Of course, we've got we had the mini bikes with the AC40 pros and rookies, and then we've also got
of course, we got the pit bikes in the Extreme 200s class, which was earlier, and then we also had the sidecars as well as the Mini GP 50 and 70 classes, which are the road to the Bennett British Superbikes series and MotoGP. But of course, you see so many people, fans and family, friends, all joining us here at Llandow circuit, just enjoying time with their friends, and it's so nice as a community to be here for possibly what could be one last time. This circuit has been here for quite a while, and it's starting to show its age, and it's an absolutely wonderful circuit. This is the first time I have been to Llandow, but and of course it looks an absolutely fantastic circuit to drive or ride.
Coming up now is going to be a barnstormer. It's going to be the Premier Class here at FAB. It's the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. It's going to be an impressive race this weekend. We have an 11 bike field here in the class, and joining us for this one is going to be a special guest. Once again, it's Sullivan Mincy. So Sullivan, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks. And so far today in the Mini GP70s, we've seen some very, very close running between the likes of Henry McCartney and Marco Holt, and we've seen McCartney as well have a small crash towards the end of qualifying, and still, even with that, he still managed to get on pole position.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually know he was on pole position, but if I'm correct in saying, I don't actually think he is going to be riding today after the bike ended up seizing in that last race, last qualifying. So it was a bit of a shame for Henry, as he's been on form this round, and there's a couple other riders that are on form as well. I think Luke's been struggling a little bit, but I saw Byron was doing really, really good at ending up beating Marco in the 50 race, and Austin done really well in that one as well. So yeah, no, I think it's going to be a really good and interesting race.
Yeah, and obviously Luke Fitchie had that crash at LL Park where swinged his dad. He believed the brake fluid boiled and practically had no brakes, but 5 minutes later it brakes again. It was really strange, but they've got new brake fluid this time around, a different DOT standard as well, and they've also changed, I believe, the caliper, or cleaned the caliper at least. Master cylinder. Changed the master cylinder, and they've got what is essentially almost a hose pipe off a Hoover to help cool their caliper and braking system whenever they're on the circuit, which is something that, to be honest, I've never heard of done, at least at FAB.
Yeah, well, if it works, it works, and we really don't want to see that happen again. Let's say it was at the end of the straight rather than a place where there was tyres where he went over the bars, which was lucky, rather than going straight into the wall at the end like Harry Payne did a little bit ago. So yeah.
Yeah, and we await to see. And Adam, what are you expecting to see in this first race of the weekend for these LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship, guys?
I think it's going to be a really, really close battle. Of course, as you said, Henry McCartney might not be competing, which is so unfortunate to hear that, but we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, Marco Holt will then have to inherit her essentially pole position by starting in that P2 spot. I'm sure Brian will also be a really big name competitor, and also Luke Fitch is starting down in 5th. He'll be hoping to try and find something to try and get himself up a position. He hasn't quite been on form as we've been seeing in the qualifying or the warm up, because of course that's exactly what you need, and as somebody who's leading the championship, that's not entirely needed. He's got six wins to his name, and hopefully he'll try and at least get a podium this time round.
Yeah, hopefully so. And our grid this time around should have been Henry McCartney on pole position, but he will be a non-starter this time around. Marco Holt will start in 2nd place, with Archie O'Brien in 3rd, with Blake Wilson alongside him on the 2nd row of our grid. Luke Fitchett and Austin Johnson will be starting in 5th and 6th, with Ollie Sims and Bill Harris in 7th and 8th on the 4th row of our grid. Wilson Dilt still in the order in 9th place as well. I'll be disappointed about that one. And Harry Payne, of course, the circuit which he had his injury last year, starting in 10th, with Finlay Paul Hill rounding out our grid in 11th place. So it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, but as we've seen in the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70, is a fan favourite as we're seeing now, and it always always produces good racing. So we'll see the medic telling everyone to slow down to the grid before we can get underway, and they'll have 2 warm-up laps with a slight extra hold to the grid. So they'll have 2 warm laps to warm up the tyres. But right now, Sullivan, do you know why, for example, we're seeing a slightly misshaped grid? For example, Wilson Doubt's down in 9th.
I think Wilson and Finley, they're normally a bit higher up in the grid, but I know Finley, he was just trying to save more of his wets than anything else. And for Wilson, I just think he might just be struggling a little bit this weekend. He looked on form when I've been watching, but I haven't been focusing too much on the times, more on the rider's technique. But I think he'll definitely be able to convert it this race, because I think it was a damp qualifying session, so they will be dropping the pace by quite a bit.
And now it looks like at the moment completely dry for these guys. And what can we see? Grid, maybe it's not all really to look at the moment, because it was done in mixed conditions. Now it's fully dry. Will we see a few surprises? You can already see Mark Holt positioning his bike at an angle to try and get the whole shot into turn 1. He's got the front row all to himself. Archie O'Brien, the first rider, on the right hand side of the screen in 3rd, but they point to the lights. The lights go on and the lights go out, and we go racing for the first race of the weekend for the Mini GP70s. Is Marco Holt, who leads the way into turn 1 from Blake Wilson. Archie O'Brien getting his best start of the season, probably in 3rd position at the moment. Bill Harris as well having the good initial ride in 6th place. Luke Fitchett as well up into 4th place at the moment, but Blake Wilson in 2nd position. A good start there from him, but Mark Holt leading the way, leading the pack through, and he's going to want to try and bridge the championship gap between himself and Luke Fitchett at this round. 38 points separate the 2 riders going into this weekend. But wow, what a start it's been from Mark Holt. Can he convert it into a race win? What we've seen all year is that the Mini GP70s, they kind of bunch up like a Moto3 race and nobody can pull away. But can Marco Holt put a stop to that, or will Blake Wilson try and make a move next time around? But wow, Adam, what a start. It's exactly what we expected to see. Marco Holt at the front, but under immense pressure.
Absolutely. Look at Blake Wilson there, really applying the pressure there, looking at Marco Holt and already looking down the inside. He really wants to try and nab that win off the 58. Currently 2nd place in the championship is Marco Holt, but Blake Wilson really trying to apply the pressure here. 2nd and 3rd in the championship, looking around the outside there at Chandler's, but the field will now just follow in pursuit. There is Archie O'Brien in the famous Spider-Man helmet. We mention this every single time we go on air, but that Spider-Man helmet is so iconic, so noticeable, and that is why we mention it. Down the hanger straight we go with Marco Holt, heavy on the anchors he goes, and look how close Blake Wilson is. Tyre fade to tyre fade, they are not splitting whatsoever. He is not letting go. He wants to lasso his way onto the rear of Marco Holt and just carry his way through. He goes, and now can he get the best exit out of here and on toward the bomber straight, looking down the inside at Surtees, and this is going to be a battle all the way to the end. Sullivan.
Well, I must say, Blake, I've gave him a couple lines through that corner, because when we were doing the extreme race I could see, but he's really, really good at coming into this corner that we've just been through, where he's much, much wider than me and he gets such a better run. So I think he's actually in a really good position. He looks like he's got more pace than Marco, and he's just going to wait for a couple more laps and then he'll definitely go for it. That's a fact. But you can definitely see Marco's under pressure, because you wouldn't go that tight 9 laps left in the race. So I think Marco's definitely feeling the pressure, and if Blake can just keep this pressure on him, a mistake might come.
Yeah, it certainly might. And there is Wilson Dilts up into 5th position. A good start to the race from him. Currently in front of Bill Harris, so equally he's having a pretty good ride. 6th position, a good ride for Bill Harris, still getting used to that Mini GP70. Of course, younger brother of Ronnie Harris, who's moved up to the RNG British Talent Cup, who of course you'll be racing against all year, Sullivan. But Wilson Doubts, a good start there from him, exactly what we want. But the fastest lap of the race currently is Blake Wilson, 2nd position, a 49.283 from the number 8 machine, so exactly what he'll be wanting there. But Finlay Paul Hill as well, making his way through on Harry Payne further down the field, and there it is up front. There's nothing really separating the top 4. Luke Fitchett at the moment though, Sullivan, you worked for him plenty across the weekend. Do you think currently he's holding back slightly, or do you think this is all he's got?
I think he's just had not a lot of track time in the dry. Same as Wilson. Wilson, he's never been the best of the best in the wet, but he's definitely been able to convert it this time round. Marco was decent in the wet, which is why he's done so good. And Archie O'Brien's just gone for a 49.2, so they're chipping away, and Archie's watching this battle, and if Blake's not careful, Archie's going to be launching him soon enough. But I think at this point, I'd be trying to, if I was Blake, I'd just be trying to overtake Marco now. He'll definitely be feeling it from Archie, and it's just going to cause more drama, which is always better to watch. But I think Blake needs to try and think about the moves he's trying to make, like going around the outside in the last corner just is never going to work. But you can look at him, he looks very, very relaxed on the bike, and so does Archie. Marco looks like he's got a lot of pressure on him, which you don't really see from Marco, but I feel like he's feeling the pressure as Marco.
Yeah, he certainly is at the moment. Fastest lap of the race is a 49 dead this time around from Archie O'Brien. Third position at the moment for him. A good lap, a good opening stages to the race. 6 laps remaining though, and it looks like Blake Wilson is starting to try and make a move, but there is confirmation of that fastest lap of 49.049. Blake Wilson, he's on the outside at the moment on the number 8 machine. We can see our new graphic for this weekend. It's a good one to say the least, but 5 laps remaining this time around in Adam. It looks like Blake Wilson is starting to try and make a move for the race lead, as he says, a 48.9.
Oh, absolutely. I think what Holt is doing, he's starting to ride in his mirrors. He's looking in his mirrors a little bit too much, and that is why he's going defensive down the hangar straight. He knows about the slipstream, and he knows that Wilson is right on the rear of him with the yellow rims just going away right behind him, and you see Wilson's just trying different lines, trying to get the best exit. They make their way now into the Dell, and they'll make their way down hangar straight they go. And Archie O'Brien, with that, who previously had the fastest lap, he's had the best time of last time out with a 49.1, but in towards Raymond they go, and O'Brien just sticking back a little. He doesn't need to get too involved, he just needs to be sitting back and letting these two fight. But with 4 laps to go, time is running out for Wilson, but I think he's just trying to stay. He's got the confidence now, he's got that fastest lap of the race. I think he's just going to try and save that to last time. We had this multiple times where a lot of the riders just try and save the best till last.
Currently, it's Blake Wilson's second position at the moment. And right now, do you think Blake Wilson, he's just trying to plan an attack, or is he trying just to make a move wherever he can, and Mark Holt is just being too good at that defence?
No, I think Blake's actually taking him easy, because he could have launched it multiple times, but I feel like he's going to the outside again, but no, he's actually sat behind, so he's lining up a move, that's for sure. But here comes Wilson Dilks, who's actually looking like he's trying to get Luke. So if Luke's not careful, he's going to be overtaken by Wilson, who looks on it. But Luke's, I think he's 0.4 off the guys in the lead, so it's not too bad. But at the end, yeah, so really, I think Luke just needs to keep chipping away at his time, as this is the first proper dry time they've had without any damp patches. But you actually can still see some damp patches, but the line Blake is doing through that corner is so risky. When I tried it on one of the laps, it was just the bike was all over the place, and he said it will be all over the place, but it'll be solid. But he's got big balls to be doing that. I can't be doing that, that's for sure.
Well, right now is Blake Wilson's second position at the moment. A 48.9 and 1/10 of a second separates the front 2 riders and battling for the race lead. You can see the crowd going wild in the background. But third position, Archie. Oh, Blake Wilson, a massive high side there, exiting the first chicane, and he's trying to get out of harm's way at the moment on the number 8 machine. He was pushing to the absolute limit, tyre let go, and just regained grip violently and flicked him over the top, but he's still trying to hop back on. He looks a bit windy, but he wants championship points. And Sullivan, he was pushing there, you can tell, going on to the second last lap. He gave everything he could, but the bike bit him.
Yeah, what a shame. He was definitely pushing in. I feel like he would have had Marco if he wasn't careful, but Marco's just going to cruise to the line now, which is very lucky for Marco, because he'd have definitely been feeling the pressure. But I hope Blake's okay. It looked like it was a bit of a grab and then it let go and then grabbed again and let go, so it was a bit of a shame. But here we go, last lap, and you can see the big black line from Blake. Shame for Blake, but lucky for Marco because he's not feeling the pressure, and big shame for Archie as well because he's now had to back off due to missing Blake.
Backing off, and now the gap's 2.253 seconds between first and second. It's also promoted Wilson Delks into third place, who's managed to get away on Luke Fitchett as well. So Wilson Delks, third place for him. Marco, our race leader, heading in to the final sector, heading in to the hangar straight. There's a rider down there, it looks like, towards that entry to the back straight. But the 58, Marco Holt, he's had so much pressure put on him this race, but he's conquered it all. He's took the race with in dominant style and a little dance over the line. You love to see it. 1.7 seconds over Archie O'Brien in second place at the line. Wilson Delks as well, and an amazing podium finish. Wilson Delks has came from 9th position on the grid to 3rd place at the line. That is what we'd love to see in the L2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. And of course, Marco Holt, this is going to help him try and bridge his gap that Luke Fitchett has right now with the championship leads. But wow, what a Mini GP70 race. We've seen so much drama. It was a freeway battle for the race leads, and as you mentioned, Blake Wilson, he lost the back end, it gained grip again, it lost again, it gained grip and flicked him over the top, and it looked like outright pace. He had something left for the final couple of laps.
Well, I'm really excited to see what's going on for the next couple races because I feel like he's going to have something in the bag to show Marco, which really he hasn't done so far this season. He's been more rolling around in 3rd place, so shame for that race, but I'm really impressed with Blake's performance in that race to go with Marco, and I'm hoping Wilson, Luke and Archie will be able to tag on the back and have a good battle for the next race.
So it was an absolutely fantastic race. But there you go, Marco Holt grabbing his 4th win of the season ahead of Archie O'Brien, who just had to back off and unfortunately finished P2 with Wilson Dills grabbing his 4th consecutive podium in of course 4 races, with Luke Fitchett and Harris in 5th place. Finley Polhill ahead of Johnson, and then Ollie Sims ahead of Harry Payne, with Blake Wilson who unfortunately went high side, and that was so it must have been so upsetting for Blake Wilson, because he had so much, he had a little bit left in the tank to go on that attack of Marco Holt. He really got Holt riding in his mirrors, and that's what you have to be doing as a rider, making sure that you've got your rival looking behind. There you go, a few waves to the camera. The kids are really enjoying their time here at FAB-Racing, getting some camera time. A lovely little community here. But yeah, an incredible way to end the first day here at Llandow Circuit with Marco Holt winning the LS2 Mini GP70 Championship. Yeah, now still 2 races to come up, and I'm sure if you could hear these riders here, the likes of Taylor Thomason, Caleb Ratcliffe and Oliver Hall, they will be saying tune in tomorrow, where we still have 2 races for every single class to come up, and it's going to be an exciting one. We have around 28 races to come up in tomorrow's action, and you can already see there's Curly shouting over, telling you to tune in tomorrow, where of course we'll be live on the FAB-Racing YouTube and Facebook channel, and the Motorsport Radio YouTube and Facebook channel. The wind is still blowing. We avoided any adverse conditions during the races, but it's been a great day of race, and a huge thanks to all the marshals, medics and race officials for making this run seamlessly. All the parents, I'm sure, will be tucking into some food and some refreshments, shall we say, in the night time. But thank you for tuning in today. Thank you, Adam, for being alongside the whole weekend, and thank you, Sullivan, for joining us during the final Mini GP70 race. It's been a pleasure all day throughout the race weekend. I'm sure we're going to see more of it tomorrow.
No, I'm really excited. And I'd just like to say to everyone that is watching this stream is I'd love you guys to come and say hello to me and everyone that's riding here. It's a lovely paddock and a very friendly community. So if you ever do want to come down, please do. And you can at least come and say hello to me.
No bias there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A fantastic way to end off the last race. But thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll take care, and we'll see you tomorrow for Sunday's coverage.